And we are unmuted and we are live, and it is Wednesday, and we are still tumbling through space. And we're still alive, which is great. Except for Ozzy Osbourne, who's no longer alive. And that's
Yeah,
a shame.
that was a shame to hear that. I was sorry to hear that. I mean, he did well to get to where he got to be honest with you, didn't he? Let's face it, given his lifestyle choices, he did quite well, really, to get to what, 76, was he?
So, yeah, that's what I read.
So yeah, I mean, fair play to him. He definitely, yeah, he definitely had a lifestyle which could have could have taken him a bit earlier, but yeah, he did well to nearly get to 80 for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is with that, I mean, I love Black Sabbath. I love Sabbath. I mean, I love Sabbath. I never got deep enough into Ozzy's solo work to really get into that, So I'm a Sabbath fan. I mean, I don't know if you're a Sabbath fan or an Ozzy fan or a bit of both.
Not really, to be
Or,
honest.
or yeah, I mean, there's no, you don't have to be. It's not a requirement for citizenship or anything, but it should be. But
No, I mean, it's just obviously I recognise it's a music legend, isn't it? It's a proper bona fide legend.
yeah, it should be a requirement for citizenship though.
The word
That's
legend.
they should say like you got to like Black Sabbath or you can't come in. But yeah, listen, I mean the thing that there's a bit of controversy though, isn't there? There's a suspicion that it was an assisted euthanasia.
Oh, really? I didn't read that. No, I didn't know that.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah. So it's a slightly strange situation because it was like 2 days after his did the Birmingham gig, right? Just recently did a gig, right? And Black Sabbath played 4 songs, which is yeah. So did you hear about the gig and stuff? Like,
well, I saw the last thing I saw.
Man, there's a generational gap between us. Oh, it'll never be breached.
The last thing I saw was
man, that's what it's all about.
He was being kind of raised from the. He had to sit down, didn't he? He was kind of like being raised from the floor. I saw that. So he was actually conducting.
He did the gig seated in a throne. So, I mean, the thing is, it was almost like a charity thing. It's like you're not going to see Black Sabbath rocking out, but I mean, I think the fans did most of the work and most of the singing anyway. But the thing is, with that, the tickets were so friggin' expensive, and it was like there was ways you had. I literally got an O2 SIM because you couldn't get tickets unless. Because it was like a queuing system, right? You know how Glastonbury is like you got to be in there for the first like 3 nanoseconds to get a ticket, right? So there's ways around with some of them. So if you have O2, you get an early release, right? If you're an O2 member, you get early release of like some tickets. So they were on it. So I got an O2 SIM card just to get an early release ticket, right? And you could join. You could sign up to Ozzy Osbourne's newsletter and get in the guest list. I'm not guest list, but pre-sale. But he was wise to that because they load of people that jumped in the last minute, but they didn't. But the O2 thing, I got a SIM card and stuff. But I just thought about it, and I thought, listen, I'm being cynical a bit, but we're not seeing any of these bands at their best, and you're going to pay 150 quid for it.
Was that what it was? 150 quid. Fucking hell.
Listen, Guns N' Roses and Metallica, they're all supporting the so-called Black Sabbath thing, really. But it was just 4 tracks of Black Sabbath, really. And that's really what I'd want to see. I'd want to see much, but then he's sick, so I mean, well, he died 2 days later.
Basically, 40 quid a track. You're paying basically.
It's just ridiculous. But like, it's the thing with the Oasis thing. I mean, you ever into Oasis or what?
I was more Oasis than Blur when I was growing up, for sure. I preferred their songs.
I was more Blur, bro. Yeah, I was definitely more Blur, though. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I definitely like, obviously like the classics like Cigarettes and Alcohol and Wonderwall and all this. So,
I mean, listen, like it's like when I was young, I was Blur over Oasis. I thought Oasis was louts. I just thought they were kind of dickheads, and the Blur was kind of, not without being pretentious, but they was like kind of like more articulate. But then when you get older, it's the Oasis songs you keep coming back to and you sing with your friends. It ain't Blur songs, you know what I mean? It's the Oasis songs you. Hey, supernova in the sky. You do that, don't you? We make.
They definitely had a knack for. I mean, look, Blur's got a load of classics, haven't they? Obviously, like Part Life and whatnot that people still sing. But Oasis just seem to bang out more of those memorable, lasting classics sort of thing.
I mean, it's like Noel definitely knew what he was doing. It's like the song Master Plan, which is an awesome track, but he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew how to write catchy songs, but ripped off the Beatles and like T-Rex and who knows else. So listen, there's so many people that Noel ripped off. It's like there's a whole YouTube thing about it, and he admits, but yeah, they're really catchy. The songs you
this
still
is
singing.
music in general for you, isn't it? Because there's a lot. Where does that line blur? Where do you sort of like draw the line or blur the line between being influenced?
You should have said no pun. Yeah, pun intended. Yeah.
where do you kind of like do that? What is the difference between being influenced and ripping off? Like, what technically is the difference? Like, you're not, as long as you're not using this exact same chord progressions and exact same notes and exact same order. It's just,
but literally they did. Like, I mean, obviously, like, I'd like to teach the world to sing imperfect. What is that? That's a Shaker Maker, right? Doesn't it start like that? And then there's like the Telegrams intro, which is cigarettes and alcohol. But then Noel always defends himself by saying, "Oh well, Mark Bolan ripped off Smoking Ass Williams or something like that, whatever his name was."
Problem is,
Smoking Johnny Bob Williams. Yeah.
Problem is, there's not that many notes to play with, so kind of like you're just dealing with A to G sharp, aren't you? Essentially, so there's going to be a bit of blurring again, pun intended, of the lines. Isn't it? There's just going to be naturally going to happen. It's just
I love puns, man. Even better when they're unintentional.
Pun intentional.
No, this is Alan Partridge now. Stop. You draw back from the
sort of Partridge cringe. That is classic. Yeah. Partridge's classic British comedy.
Totally, yeah. But it's comedy, and we got to not lapse into parody, but stay somewhat serious. So listen, we watched the fight, right? That's the
yeah.
To not talk about it, but because I was engaged, I was engaged. But yeah, the fight. Do you want to go? What do you think about it?
Well, I was quite surprised how Usyk came out on the front foot so much. I wasn't expecting him to be so forward. He really, like, from the first bell just went for it, didn't he? And just Dubois just didn't.
I thought the first round belonged to Dubois, actually. And again, the BBC, the news journalists do what they always do, and for some reason they only show Usyk's, not shots on Dubois. But the first round for me was Dubois, actually, and until the third round, Dubois was dominant, and then he sort of tired out. Dubois backed off, and I just don't know. I just don't know what the hell happened. But Dubois was dominant for the first 3 rounds in my eyes.
See, I didn't see it like that. I had 10-9 each round up until round 5 to Usyk, and I don't know. I just thought Usyk came out really like aggressive and kept catching him constantly. And by the 3rd or 4th round, Dubois just didn't want to be there. And you could see as soon as he got buzzed on his ear and he went down, he did not want to continue.
When did he get buzzed? Was it in the 5th? He got buzzed in the 5th, didn't he?
In the 5th. He didn't even look to be that.
No, but he looked strong until the 5th. He looked fine. This is me and you watched it. Me and my mate watched it. And we were jaunty and happy. We had no until the 5th. And then we was all chatting shit and talking, drinking, and just being distracted a little bit and thinking, "Oh, this is safe." And you're watching a match or something, and you think, "Oh, it's safe. This is all right." And then suddenly, fucking everything changes on a dime, and you think, "Oh, I was talking shit. Why was I fucking even talking? I should have been watching this." And I missed. Like, it was in the 5th. It all collapsed for him in the 5th because he got, like you say, he got a hit on the back of the head somewhat, didn't he?
He got hit in his ear, didn't he, basically? So that really kind of buzzed him. And you could see when he got back up, like if you rewatch it, because I've rewatched it a couple of times, you can see when he gets back up, he does not want to be there. And it was just inevitable that within 30 seconds he was going to get put down again. He did not want to be after that. And that's Dubois, though. He's kind of like that. He just, he's got this kind of streak in him. That's why people call him a quitter and all this kind of stuff. Look, he's got a good record. I'm not trying to say.
He didn't play against Jarrell Miller, did he? He slugged out with Jarrell Miller. I mean, but then obviously Jarrell Miller, he's not really. He's not even. Is he even in the top 10 of any belts? You know,
I don't know.
He's not really, is he?
I think so. No.
It was an impressive spectacle, Dubois and Miller, though. I mean, that was just mad. But then Miller's slower, and listen, this is the conclusion. I reached this conclusion that ain't nothing special, but it's like you said he's a technical boxer, but it's about speed, and even a smaller, faster man will beat a bigger, slower guy. And Dubois is just that bit too slow, I think.
Yeah, he's a bit of a lumbering. He can be lumbering sometimes, but he did get Usyk with a couple of decent shots. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of had it the other way around. I thought Usyk was just very generally dominant and was hitting him with the better shots and just boxed it technically better.
He was backing off in the first 2 rounds. He was backing off. It was only in the third round where it seemed to me where Usyk's movement was and his ability to escape. Dubois was putting Usyk in the corner. That's how much movement Dubois had on Usyk. He got him in the corner a few times, and Usyk had to. He almost somersaulted over Dubois. It's like he crept under his arm, he just ducked, and he was out. I mean, Usyk's skills as a ninja boxer are amazing, you know.
In the first round, at the start of the first round, Dubois took the center of the ring. He did definitely take the center of the ring at the start.
Exactly.
But then Usyk, quite about sort of minute into the round, took it back. And then I think from there, it was just, for me...
I'll have to watch, but I think Dubois was tidy and tasty and could have gone either way in the first 3 rounds, in my opinion. And then I think perhaps in the fourth, it just seemed that because in the second round, Usyk was slowed down and Dubois didn't capitalize on it. If you rewatch it and rewatch it, you'll see that Dubois' heaviness and his impacts slowed Usyk down significantly in rounds 2 and 3. And it seemed only to be in round 4, I think, that, well, also frequently, but that Usyk managed to get his sort of his stealth boxer ninja sort of abilities just magically just escaping from corners and stuff. And then the 5th round, of course, I think Dubois was really frustrated in the 5th as well. He felt that he slowed down. I think maybe I can't maybe even gassed. Maybe Dubois was even gassed at that point because Usyk's just so fast and stubbornly refuses to get hit. He's like fighting Mayweather. He just won't get hit. Dubois is used to hitting people. Even when he lost Joe Joyce, he still hit Joe Joyce. You know, he still landed punches. He landed some. I mean, I think he was dominant, but yeah, he couldn't land what he wanted, and he got frustrated and tired and gassed. Maybe even who knows, right?
I just thought that Usyk had like a few decent combinations. There was a little bit of ceding of ground in terms of the center of the ring sometimes, but I had him 10-9 every round up until the 5th, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'll definitely rewatch it again and sort of maybe look into it.
We'll compare notes on that, yeah, because
it was because
interesting. Tyson Fury, and I was still satisfied in the fact that he won the first fight. But yeah, sorry, go on.
I was going to say it was an interesting spectacle. It'll be interesting to see if this Fury 3rd fight goes ahead because I don't know if you've seen they're touting it for April the 18th.
Fury 3rd fight.
So I don't know if Usyk's going to fight Parker before Fury. So I'm not sure how that's going to work.
All right. Fury said he's retired, but for once I think he should. But is he going to fight again, Usyk?
Apparently, he's announced it. It was on Instagram. I saw the announcement. I haven't seen it on X, but I've seen it on Instagram. And Tyson Fury put up a link that you can
shit and trying to get gas trying to blow wind into the sails. He always does. You know, what do you think? It could just be somewhat cynical. What does Fury say? Did he quote it?
I'm just trying to look for it here. Sorry, Frank Warren reveals.
Oh yeah, because it's Warren. It's not Eddie Hearn, is it? But aren't they all the same now? They've all joined up, haven't they? Matchroom and DAZN and that, haven't they? Yeah,
I mean, basically all it says here, former blah, 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 Tyson Fury says he will fight Usyk in a trilogy bout at Wembley Stadium, April 18th, 2026. So it's kind of Fury saying it. So I don't know how confirmed this is.
So what did he say again?
He just says he's going to fight him in April at Wembley, and
he's going to fight him. He's going to fight really. Because that's funny because he always wanted the money, didn't he? He always initially he was on about $1 billion to fight in Saudi Arabia, to fight Usyk in Saudi. That was his first thing, wasn't it?
Well, he's doing his show as well at the moment, isn't he? He's trying to get money from that. He does his show. He's doing like a Netflix series, isn't he? At Home with the Furies 2. It's the second series.
Oh, is it worth watching?
I don't have Netflix. I don't really get the chance to watch it, but it's just indicative of he's still trying to get money in, isn't it? So he's still trying to
I mean, the thing is I suppose his idea is seems to me in his mind the money thing is not for him because he seems like a very frugal guy and lives very modestly, relatively maybe. Yeah. But it seems to be he wants to create a dynasty stretching through future millennia, and he wants to create like a Tyson. But it seems to be that could work if he could amass like £1 billion or something. He could create some kind of Fury sort of aristocracy or something. Sort of find billionaires. I don't know, but what the idea is, I think it's interesting. I mean, maybe his kids will grow up to be great boxers too. I mean, that could be interesting to follow, right?
I mean, look at the size of the guy. I mean, the guy's 6'7". I mean, imagine getting into a ring and trying to fight that guy. Seriously, it's kind of unbelievable, really.
9 though.
6'7", 6'9", is it something like this?
It's weirdness about Fury in his size because he's been seen in pictures actually tiptoeing to make himself look bigger. So he's like, there's actually controversy about how tall he really is.
Well, it's not like he needs to tiptoe necessarily, is it? I mean, he's still, even without tiptoeing, he's still at least 6'7" or something around this. So it's not like he's not a insignificant human being.
6'9", according to. That's it. I think he's somewhere between 6'7" and 6'9". There's a statistical error regarding how tall he is, depending on whether he's on tiptoes or not. But his height is recorded as 6'9", apparently.
He's still by far he's the tallest man in the division. I mean, Deontay Wilder's like 6'6".
But then it said on Reddit he's 6'7". So this is getting weird. Yeah,
it was one of the problems that Deontay Wilder had, is that he was fighting an unusually bigger man, because Deontay Wilder's like 6'6", 6'7". So
they had that with Klitschko's for like 10 years, didn't they? The whole division couldn't touch the Klitschko's jab, that pouring jab of a. How tall was Klitschko? 6'6".
Which one, Vladimir?
We're both about the same size. Are twins, aren't they? The same size, aren't they?
Let's have a look here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have a look. So why is it not telling me this? This is just annoying.
Okay, so I hate it when they tell you in metric. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, feet.
Was it telling you in meters?
2.2201 for Vitali.
Okay, yeah. So what is that? So that I don't know what that is. I don't know what that conversion is.
Well, Vladimir 6'7".
Right.
Vitali,
okay. Yeah, because 2 meters is 6.5 feet.
Exactly the same, break for them. Yeah, same 6'7". Yeah, so for so long it was dominated by unnaturally. What the? You playing some? Did you do that? What was that?
I didn't do anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for so long, obviously the boxing was dominated by these giants, and the pouring jab, just the jab held them off. Except for Lennox Lewis. That's
Well, Lennox, how old? Sorry,
I'm talking to a video that just popped up. Go ahead.
How tall was Lennox Lewis? Oh, look at that. I don't even remember how tall he was.
Right. Okay. 6'4". Guess 6'6". Was he 6'6"?
Lennox Lewis. Height.
Well, both do 6'5". 6'5".
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'5". Right. Yeah. So he had that height. Yeah, he could reach. But then there was also the what was that? Oh God, what was that giant that David Haye had to fight? Do you remember? not powerlifter. Guy who was 6'9", wasn't he? And that was on course to fight in the Klitschko, one of the Klitschko's, which he lost.
I don't remember that. Obviously, I remember David Hay and his exploits, but I don't remember.
No, he actually gained the belt. It was the only belt that. What was that guy's name? Massive guy. Come on, listen.
Yeah, Nikolai
Yeah,
Valuev.
Yeah, of course, Valuev. Exactly.
7 foot tall.
7 foot tall.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Can you imagine? Imagine getting into a ring. This is what these people don't.
Right, he wasn't even a good boxer, but he just had 7. He was just 7 foot tall. I mean, he obviously boxed. He was a good boxer, but he wasn't like technical. He wasn't great, but he was 7 foot tall.
Imagine some of the impact that these punches have from these guys.
David Hay broke his wrist on his jaw. Apparently, there's that. I don't know if you've seen the fight, right? But have you seen the fight?
Yeah, I actually did this. I had a fight in school when I was.
Valuev had never been wobbled, never been shook, and David Hay was the first one to wobble Valuev, and it was amazing to see. And he broke his wrist punching him in the jaw.
I did this at school one time. So when I was about 16 or 15 years old, I had a fight with someone who was originally kind of a good friend of mine, and then we fell out quite a bit, and so ended up having a fight at the bottom of the drive, as the fights used to happen at the bottom of the drive on a Friday night after school. Yeah. So we had the fight, and then I actually kind of broke my thumb. It wasn't my wrist, but I broke my thumb, and looked like I was going to have to go to hospital for it. Then my mum was telling his mum about it, saying that, Robert's got to future shock. Has got to go to the hospital, and then he goes
right where I live.
Then he goes and tells everyone at school that I had to go to hospital. And it's like, well, no, I didn't have to go to hospital because of your punches. I had to go to hospital because of my punches. Because I've broken my thumb, sort of thing. But I actually didn't go to hospital in the end. But
your thumb shouldn't be anywhere near him, man. How'd you break your thumb?
Well, it's the impact of the hit, isn't it? It's just the impact. It's just rattled. I guess it just rattled the bone a bit, didn't it? I don't know. Wow. I had a dodgy thumb anyway, because I used to break it a few times playing basketball, going up for rebounds and stuff. You know, the ball would land directly on your thumb. So I broke my thumb a few times doing that. So yeah, my thumb was already in a bit of a state. My right hand's thumb.
Okay, so listen. I mean, look, Japan is still here, right? We're still here. Yeah,
that's good.
It is. It's good. It's good. So I'm not necessarily gonna. I'm not going to do an earthquake. Jesus.
What was that?
That's fun. That's like just a nice green patch here and trees and people just following and running through trees. Not that I live in a particularly like.
I can't quite hear you. Sorry, the mic's got a bit funny. Sorry.
All right. Listen.
Okay, that's better.
All right. Listen, we're still here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Are we not?
Yeah, it's fine.
And we're alive. Yeah?
Yeah. It's just your mic went a bit muffled for a second then. But
never mind now, right? All right. Listen, Japan's still here. We've got, how many days have we got before the end of the world prophecy?
Well, is it supposed to be within July? Is it supposed to be within the month of July? So it's like 7 or 8 days. 7 days.
Jesus Christ, frigging teenagers. Don't they know someone's fucking podcasting here? Anyway, never mind. Right. So, yeah, I'm dealing with teenagers at my window, but yeah. So, yeah, what is it? Like 7, 8 days, right? So, yeah. So, we got 7 days just to hang on. So, I guess if we, like, get to August, we'll just live for it. We'll be all right. And this solar maximum will pass by and everything will be okay.
Yep. Are you still okay? I can't.
You dropped out, bro. You dropped out, yeah.
No, I'm still here. I was just listening. Again.
I left a pregnant pause. So, but anyway, listen. Let's move to the first of what are several interesting stories. Yeah. So I'll start with one of mine, and then you can go with one of yours. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah.
Right then. So here we go. Listen, this is quite recent. I mean, we all know about the mess in sort of Palestine. Yeah, we'll call it. Can you see that? This is a really interesting situation, right? This guy, right? This is relatively recent news, July 3rd, relatively recent. I was going to do this last time, but I didn't get around to it. So, okay, retired British Army colonel says Israel fighting very tough war in Gaza. Retired British Colonel Richard Kemp said he witnessed IDF efforts to minimize civilian casualties in Gaza. Right. This is from Fox. Okay. So, in the best traditions of media analysis, what are your first impressions about this article? Just based on the headline and the sub headline.
Well, you can obviously see what they're trying to frame it as, can't you? And also, like, trying to say that witnessed IDF efforts to minimize civilian casualties. Right? Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not sure I believe that too much, but there we go.
All right. Well, let's have a look at this guy. This is a really weird guy. But the thing is, what I've discovered is that weird people and weird people and like Zionist, pro-Zionist politics seem to intersect. This is like a Venn diagram of overlap. If you put Zionist in one circle and you put weird in the other, you get.
I can't hear. Like, I can't. Like, the mic is. Sorry. Like, the mic's just. It's not clear enough. I don't know. Are you using your actual mic for the laptop, or are you using a separate mic? Sorry, because I keep losing you a little bit.
All right. Listen. So this. Where did you get up to?
Yeah, it's been a very tough war in Gaza.
Where'd you get up to? What was the last thing you heard me say?
I wasn't too sure. Like, from when you started playing the video, I couldn't really quite hear it.
Listen, the last thing that's important is the Venn diagram. So the Venn diagram, right? So you got Zionist on one end in one circle. You got weird in the other. So it's there's a zone of intersection. I'm going to explain this. And this intersects in another circle with a general predisposed topic towards spiritual weird phenomenon. And this guy, he's right in the apex of all this. So this is a perfect example of what the Illuminati do. Anyway, let's just listen to this creepy weird guy, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we need
from a massive underground tunnel network, and those two things make defeating them extremely.
Can you see this fellow, Mr. Future Shot?
Yeah, I can see him. Yeah.
Okay, look into his eyes.
Complex. And
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are still many hostages left, which have to be obviously taken into consideration. Clearly, an idea for
fixed stare. I mean, he's blinking, but he sort of has a fixed stare. You know, am I reading through this? Yeah.
The hostages out, possibly the most important.
No, he's actually reading. He's reading. He's fucking reading an audio.
I was literally about to say, yeah, he's obviously reading.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. We don't actually listen to this guy's fucking shit, but. So this guy, he's basically sort of saying that the idea for minimizing Gaza civilian casualties. Fox News, it's basically sort of it's basically the neocon deep state in the media force. It's Rupert Murdoch, so that's what he is. He's a Zionist sort of deep state stooge, and they seem to get in all the newspapers. Robert Maxwell, famously in the 80s, of course, revealed as a Mossad spy, and his daughter's just Ghislaine.
Yes, she's his daughter, isn't she? I forgot about that.
Exactly, yeah. And her role in helping Jeffrey Epstein to procure, vulnerable young children, teenagers.
Why is she so? If there's no Epstein files, by the way, I'd say it's slightly off topic, but of Israel. But if there's no, it's kind of connected in a way. But if there's no files, why is she in prison? Because suddenly it's like there's no files.
Yeah.
So why is she still in prison? Someone's not
exactly. Isn't she going to testify? Didn't she say she would testify or something?
Apparently, I'm not sure when.
File's been released because Trump has said he will release them somewhat because we talked about it last time. There's been the grassroots of MAGA are really pissed off about this. That they didn't vote for this to protect cheese pizzas loving scumbags, should we say?
Yeah, Pizzagate and all that.
Yeah, they didn't vote for him to protect these people. They voted for him specifically to fucking follow the law and to the maximum amount of these people. That was exactly it. And everyone's pissed off about that.
Was just before he became president, wasn't it? That was one of the things he was leading on, that they were going to release the Epstein files.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the main things that he was going to do.
I think he feels it. I think he feels the backlash from his grassroots, from True MAGA, TM, from True MAGA, which is True MAGA is like American smart sort of shit posting people who don't like fucking people who love cheese pizza and work for Democrats to foment war and destabilizing the world. That's what they don't want, and this is what it looks like Trump is just another head of, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Well, also he's playing into the hands of the Democrats, who are now all saying things like, well, we told you so, this is what you voted for, so it's really not great in any sense.
They would have done even worse, and they would have done exactly the same, because Kamala Harris, the thing is with Biden, the point of selecting, because he wasn't elected, he was selected a totally remote control president with no faculties or brain of his own, is that he will just do whatever his cabinet tell him, and his cabinet, where there was a certain group of people who are massively overrepresented in his cabinet, and that's the point. If you can elect a president who's totally controllable, that's the perfect game. That's the perfect dream. I would say Trump isn't totally controllable. I think that's why he was a thorn in the side, because he's not completely controllable. He's obviously controllable in some areas, but Biden had no input as a president. He had no brain. He was completely pissing himself all the time. He didn't know what was going on. He was just signing executive order after anything that was presented to him,
And look, like someone like Epstein is important to these people, because you can't these people can't look, your Bill Clintons and that can't link up with a hooker, just the average hooker, can they? Do you know what I mean? Because she's going to be all over the newspapers, all over socials about it. So the role of Epstein is to ensure that there's this kind of exclusive club where these people want to do their little pervy things. They've got this exclusive club where no one's going to talk, and no one's going to be going to newspapers or reporters, etc. And Epstein is the kind of fulcrum of the whole thing, or apparently not, because apparently it never existed anymore, according to Trump, which is just such absolute nonsense. It's so transparent as well. I think it's one of the worst things he's done, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know, but what's the latest? I think he's sort of feeding a few crumbs to the MAGA piranhas who want to get revenge, I suppose, in the midterms, because if he's weakened in the midterms, it will obviously sort of jeopardize his final 2 years.
So when's that? That's going to be coming up in a few months, then, I suppose, isn't it?
God, already
is it already?
I don't know. I'm just are you sure is it really that soon? Have we had a year of the presidency? We've had just over a year. I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, because it was November, wasn't it, I suppose? So we're coming up on the first year. It's kind of mad, isn't it? Because when you've got a president like Trump, the news cycle is so full of things constantly, week in, week out, that you almost feel like he's been around longer than he has, because so many things seem to happen. There's so many things in the news.
Okay, so we got 2026 midterms. So are they going to be held in November 2026 or?
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, I think so.
So latest is
year
until Epstein grand jury files as Trump. Anyway, so U.S. judge rejects Trump admin. Ah, right, jeeps. A U.S. judge. So is that a Supreme Court thing? Or can it be taken to the So apparently the judge has refused to unseal. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. So who the flip is this judge? You know who's. But what was fucking terrible was how the Republican Party, was it the Senate, refused to release. They voted to refuse to release the Epstein documents. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what the fuck?
Well, at the end of the day, people want to chat. People can chat a load of breeze about it all that they want, but no one's going to release it because there's so many people who are involved from both sides that it kind of. I made this point ages ago. I don't even think he was on this show. I think it was even before we were doing this show that the files will never get released because there's too many people involved. It's folly to think that you're going to get, unless it's something heavily redacted.
Even P. Diddy's got away with it, right?
Sorry?
It's P. Diddy got away with it. He seems
exactly.
to be getting...
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, man. That's bad, man. Anyway, listen, let's focus. And, well, I mean, for my part, I'll focus. And just talk this guy. I mean, don't want to spend too much time on it because you've got your bit waiting, right? So, yeah, you get the idea, though. This guy, right, ostensibly he's an ex-British colonel. He's got weird eyes and he needs an auto cue apparently, but okay, he looks normal potentially, right? So he's saying he's doing damage control for Israel to say that they have been lenient and not killed that many people and such, right?
Right.
You get that here, right? Obviously the IDF. Yeah, you keeping up with this, man. You know. I mean, I do fucking have a side because I don't like fucking genocide, you know. So, hey, man, I do have a side. Because I don't like genocide. Is IDF being heavily scrutinized over their handling of the war? Damaged civilians? Yeah, okay, they've killed what? Hundreds of thousands of people, potentially, yeah?
So this is them being lenient, is it? Right, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the guy who's telling you that they're being lenient, and he's ex-British colonel. So, like, the weird thing about this guy is he's actually come up in my researches before, so I've written about him. And this is the article I cited, which I'm just gonna. If you want to just make a few sounds, do you want to just fill for a bit for me? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the idea. Well, we've heard this before as well when there's been previous Gaza conflicts, not just this one that started after the October incident. That they always try to make out, and they always try to claim that they're minimizing and they're doing everything that they can to minimize the civilian casualties, and it's kind of like the brass neck of it. Do you know what I mean? It's so brazen because it's kind of like, how stupid and how thick do you think we are? Like I said before, I genuinely don't know why they don't just like level the whole. I mean, they pretty much almost leveled the whole place, but why not just level the whole place? You obviously don't care about Palestinians, so just level.
No, that's what they want to do. They literally have no compunction about the lives of Palestinians. They just think they're subhuman. They love killing children. They love killing children. And if they kill a pregnant woman, it's even better for them because they've killed two people with one bullet. They're literally fucking lunatics. The IDF. They're literally fucking lunatics. They shoot kids. They kill kids, and if they kill a Palestinian child, they think they consider they've stopped that child growing into a terrorist. Right? They're fucked. They are fucked. They're fucked, but these are the people. Anyway, listen, I'll try and stay calm and just refer to the media and the news source on this, right? So this thing about this guy, Richard Kemp, right? He's at the grave. Can you see that there, future shot?
Yeah, I can see him there.
Right,
so I'll be back in 1 sec. Sorry, I'm listening. Just keep talking. I'll be back in 1 sec. Sorry.
All right, and if you're not around, I'll play a song. But yeah, this is Richard Kemp, as we saw on Fox News as a sort of paid Zio shill for hire, right? He's here pictured at the grave of this. Okay, let's date this. This is back in the day because, like I say, I wrote an article about this and noticed this guy. This was like 12 years ago, right? So he's here at grave of British General Orde Wingate. Oh, flip me over. And 9 British and American comrades killed with him in 1944, right? So this is the point is about this guy is he's insane. So he's an Illuminati nutcase who believes he's talking to the spirits of the dead. And he's particular, this guy, he reckons he's talking to Sir Orde Wingate. So he spoke recently at a Christians United for Israel audience, KUFI, right? That's the acronym. And he told these Christians, so-called, that he had communicated with the dead. So according to Front Page Mag report, he had that very morning spoken to Ord Wingate, who's a British Zionist, who was so this is who Ord Wingate is. I spoke to him this morning at Arlington Military Cemetery. Excuse me. The late British officer infamously led the Special Night Squad, a militia used to crush Palestinian rebels who fought against the British occupation in the 1930s. According to one history of the British occupation of Palestine, Wingate had, this is the dead guy, right? Who this flipping lunatic thinks he's in touch with somehow, right? So according to one history of the British occupation, Wingate had a passionate pro-Zionism born of the religious tenets he had absorbed as a member of the Plymouth Brethren. Now, if Future Shock's still around, which I don't think he is,
just returned.
Plymouth Brethren famously is associated with Aleister Crowley. So he was born of Plymouth Brethren mother. And there's something about that Plymouth Brethren, man. We got to look into that, because that's a Christian sect that produces fucking lunatics. So you're like, what are they doing to people, you know? How are they making Aleister Crowley's and Ord Wingate, right? So Wingate had a passion for Zionism, conservative evangelical denomination. The squad was mostly pro Zionist and British, knowing that they were simultaneously members of the Haganah. So this is like, Haganah was like a sort of terrorist group, right? The militia, which played in 1948 the leading role in ethnically cleansing, apparently, according to this, as much as 750,000 Palestinians. So I'll just refer to the article. Can you see the article up there? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Your bit's up next year. So I just want to get through the point that the people who rule the world and the people. And this is what I've been talking about for weeks, haven't I, mate? They think they're talking to dead spirits, or they're talking to spirits or ghosts or something, and this puts them high up in the hierarchy. The fact that they communicate with the dead or with demons, that makes them immediately top of the level in the Illuminati. This is a prerequisite. Even it's probably this guy who he's communicating with won't be Sir Ord Wingate. It'll be just some fucking lunatic demon just fucking with him. Anyway. Kempel, told his Christians for his, he communicated with the dead. Yeah, so Christian. Yeah, nice one. Squad was popular by Zionists. Arabs caught with arms were routinely some hanged, so arbitrary executions. British Army, Haganah training army, potentially trained.
The greatest Christian Zionist in Britain.
Yeah, and that's the thing with American Christians. They're all Christian Zionists. I mean, they're not all, of course. But largely Christianity in America is something that the Zionists have managed to co-opt. So the bottom line of that is basically supporting my ongoing hypothesis is that I already said the Illuminati is all about lunatics speaking to the dead. But it doesn't matter if those dead so-called people are not even who they say they are, but it's just the demonic hierarchy communicating with their minions, and that puts them on the table. That puts them at the top of the table. That's how Churchill got to be where he was, because he was both Zionist and he could hear the dead talking to him.
Oh, I didn't know Churchill was infamous for this. I didn't realize.
Yeah, infamous for hearing voices. Yeah.
Well, this is just yeah.
Well, he was, and he just famously has been quoted as saying, I think I mentioned this before, but whenever he went to important meetings, he always heard a voice in his head telling him where to sit.
Okay.
Which is weird. All right, you do your bit then.
Well, it's something completely different, really. But let me just get it on the old present. 1 second, I'll share the screen. Here we go. So basically what this is something I stumbled across last night, or in the last couple of nights anyway.
Yeah.
And I think if you just remove yours from the stage, I can add this to the stage. So this, I'll just expand it out. So what we're looking at here is this is low orbit Earth. This is a lot of space debris. This is stars. You're going to see shooting stars as well at various points in this. Now it's 18 minutes long. Obviously, I'm not going to play the 18 minutes. I've just fast forwarded to where it kind of like gets a little bit interesting, which is around here, 12 minutes. So this is shot from the International Space Station that has multiple cameras and telescopes attached to it. And this is one of them. I believe this is one of the cameras. I don't know what year this is. Sorry, so I'm not too sure what year it is. It's within the last few years, I believe. And what NASA have is they have a feed that goes out periodically every week, where they basically point the camera at this part of space, and kind of observe what's going on. And they kind of do a commentary on it and this sort of thing. Now, the reason that I'm sharing it is because there's quite a few interesting things going on up there, and anybody who's trained themselves or trained their eyes, sorry, on any part of the sky like this, realize that there's actually quite a lot of stuff going on there, be it satellites, be it comets, be it space debris, this kind of stuff. However, there's some things here, if I start to press play, that's kind of weird. See where this little thing is now?
Your mic's gone fucked up, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you, yeah.
So I've just muted it. I think maybe because I had the thing unmuted. So if you can just see here where I put the cursor, you see this thing that's kind of moving up here.
You're doubling up, man. Close. Have you got the thing playing? Because I'm hearing echoes. Oh no, you've sorted it out. That's okay, you got it this time. All right. Go on.
Okay. Is it still echoing?
No, I said you got it. It's okay. I can see that thing moving though. Yeah.
So yeah, and now what you're going to see in a second, if you just concentrate below it, another one is just going to appear. Now, I'm not trying to say that these are aliens. That's a shooting star.
Right, shooting star, yeah.
But now suddenly there's two of them. There we go.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
So I'm not trying to say. To be honest,
who, what, where, and when? When was this done, and what?
I don't know what year it is. I don't think that's necessarily mad important. But what I'm just trying to the reason that I'm showing this, sorry, is I'm not trying to say that, oh, look, we're seeing aliens here. And I can't unfortunately play the commentary because it will mess up with the mic. There's another shooting star. What I'm trying to say is I find this personally, I just find it quite fascinating.
I do too. But when I see something interesting, I want to know when, what, who did this, who filmed this, when, where, etc. That's
as I've explained, this is from NASA's feed. I don't know the exact date, so I don't know the exact date. Here's another look at this. What's that thing doing? See this thing?
It's fascinating. It's totally amazing. Yeah, it's fascinating. They would say it's space debris, though, but obviously, no. And there's another shooting star. That's really cool.
It's amazing how many shooting stars there are as well, because I think people have this idea of space being desolate. I mean, look at how much stuff is moving around.
Yeah, that is fascinating.
It's just quite fun to watch, and like I say,
how are they moving? Wow. No, that's fun. That is cool. That thing's still moving, or has it stopped? It disappeared.
So it kind of moved there. This one's gone up here. So there's a lot of space debris. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say these are all aliens, but when these things are kind of turning themselves on, suddenly it seems they're just appearing out of nowhere.
I mean, you could say, listen, the argument about that could be it's just come into the sun, and that's one. I've just thought of that. It could. There's
another one. It's quite crazy.
But listen, it could be it's just come into the sun's glare and it's appeared. That'd be my only possible rebut, because I believe this is real footage of whatever it is showing here.
Oh yeah, this is 100% real footage. This would basically, I can't unfortunately play the commentary, but when you hear the commentary, the person who's commenting on it is trying to sort of skirt around what's happening, and it's a bit difficult because it's going out on a live feed, on the NASA live feed, and they're kind of having to explain what they're seeing. And she kind of starts to stutter a bit because she doesn't really know what's going on. I think this is kind of the main action. Yeah, or you can see from there that, I don't know, what year could that be? I don't know. That's not a great camera, is it? So yeah, that was it really. It was just quite interesting, I think, to watch that. I could watch that shit all day, to be honest with you. I could watch.
Okay, listen, we've got some interesting comments. Oh, this is cool. Wow, I just checked the BitChute stream, and we've got like people commenting, which is cool.
Okay. I can't
So,
see when I
yeah.
try to go on BitChute, it won't let me go on it. I don't know why. Hang on.
You
let me try
need a
it.
VPN, yeah. You
Sorry?
can't get it. England, it's blocks in England. You need a VPN.
Oh yeah, that's it. So I need to get a VPN sorted out.
Yeah. This is okay. So we've got some bullshit of flogging Bitcoin, but then we got this guy. What is this? New Dodge is commenting on our BitChute stream, and he says, "Don't fucking be." There we go. Don't be so easily misled. Fact is, Trumpy, we know you are using Epstein News to distract from the facts. I fucking scroll down on BitChute. Why is it so uncooperative? Hang on, there we go. Don't be so easily misled. Fact is, Trumpy, we know you are using ancient Epstein News to distract from the fact you're developing blood clots in your extremities from getting hit with a hot warp speed mRNA clot shot. Okay, that's interesting from you, New Dodge. Thank you for that. Trump. To be fair, Trump looks fucking old recently. He looks old now. He looks tired. He looks old. And he's saying that he's got developing blood clots because he took the mRNA clot shot. Did he take the vaccine, Trump, as far as you know?
I don't know, to be honest. I would imagine so. I would imagine he's kind of required to take. I don't know, mate. He might. Can he refuse to take it as a sitting president? Is he required to take it? I don't know. Let's have a look. Has Trump taken?
Okay, so anyway, we got that cool. We got that, but we've got a load of Bitcoin fucking spammers, and they can fuck off. But yeah, if you want to fucking flog Bitcoin or whatever shitcoin you're talking about, at least do some content on our chat, and that's cool. But then, so that's strong. Yeah, fucking BitChute scammers. Nice. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily scammers, but there's a load of fucking scammers. But yeah, the whole thing with Bitcoin is if you've bought in, you want to do everything you can to pump the price. So it's like because it's for your benefit. So maybe it's these guys pumping Bitcoin, which is fine. If you got Bitcoin, it's fine. Pump it, believe it. I hope you're millionaires. That's fine. But yeah, okay. So we've got some activity on BitChute, which is cool. So yeah, hello, yeah.
Yo, yeah, I'm still
Hello,
here.
BitChute.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just checking.
Yeah, hello, BitChute. We got most of our audience there, bro. We get the most views on BitChute.
Yes, I remember you saying last week the views were pretty good.
We did really well. We did really well for BitChute because.
Well, do you know what the funny thing is? What I was going to say, I went live briefly yesterday on my football channel and just did an hour or so chatting away about football and whatnot, and ended up going on about magic mushrooms for a bit, as I might tend to do, as you do. But yeah, no, what I noticed was when I was going live, there's a sort of like men's magazine content that I get pushed sometimes, and this guy who runs the channel, I don't really watch it. Well, I don't watch it, to be honest with you, but the guy who runs the channel has about 300,000 subscribers, and he was going live on YouTube. He only had 18 people watching. You got 300,000 subscribers.
Interesting. Yeah, good point. Actually, the live stream is the hardest thing to crack. So that's the thing. We should actually start making like 10-minute videos and things, but the live stream is a hard thing to crack, and we've just jumped in the live streams, haven't we? You know?
Yeah. Do you know
I
what?
think we've got comments in our chat, bro. Have you checked them? Yeah, we
Sorry?
have, man.
Say
Have
again?
we got any comments in our chat? We have.
Yeah, I've been pinning them. Yeah, I've been putting them on the screen.
Yeah. So we got who we got?
Ebru's there. I'm not sure if she's still there, but yeah,
Cool.
she said a few things. This is in the YouTube chat, yeah?
Nice,
So-
nice. I don't know. Yeah. So nice to see you, Ebru. Thank you for commenting.
Or
And,
Hebrew. It's like a person from the north trying to pronounce Hebrew, isn't it? It's how, like, if you met someone from Sheffield, would say Hebrew.
Yeah, but the comment, she says facts but harsh. I wonder what they're referring to.
I'm not sure.
think
That
so.
came in whilst you were talking about the Colonel. So
It
I'm not
could
sure.
be, but it's facts but harsh. Well, I don't think we should be afraid of the truth, honestly, bro. I think once you're afraid of the truth, under whatever pretext, you are just in fascism right there. You're in tyranny, because the truth is the only thing that keeps you free.
Yeah, it's like what they say is the truth will set you free. First, it'll piss you off.
Yeah, but it's true though. The truth will set you free, but the truth keeps you free as well. Because without the truth, you're in tyranny. They can make up shit, and you go to prison for nothing and all that. That's when you no longer live in the truth. You're in danger. When you're society, the truth, you're in. You're all in danger. You know.
There's a lot of people. Sorry, go on.
No, you go on.
No, I was literally just about to say there's a lot of people on socials. I especially noticed this on X as well. That spend they cultivate their entire profile or Twitter account or YouTube account around living a lie. They say things, especially this happens a lot with football, particularly I've seen, but also politically. They're just engagement farm. They say things because they know it's going to get views. It's going to get, and I couldn't do that. Like neither of us could do that. I would rather try to tell the truth and be occasionally wrong than deliberately lie and mislead people, or just be deliberately, ostentatious for
that's kind of a good guy
for no reason, for views. Just because I want, I would rather have less views.
At least we're in the right place together. Then we both have that agenda. So yeah, that's our agenda, isn't it?
This is it.
Like, make shit up, and we might get it wrong, but is in good faith, basically, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they're bad faith actors, and I just kind of get a bit tired of them because I just don't know how you can live your life every day. You're waking up, you're posting on social media, and it's bullshit that you're posting, and you know it. That's the point. They know it.
That's what the David Icke moderate, the webmaster Sean Adel Talabatay. That's what he's doing now. He's got all these sort of fucking fake kind of these websites, and he sort of, even weirdly for some reason, even my ex Turkish girlfriend knew about one of his stupid shitty channels, because they go straight to Facebook and they know, like, they have the marketing. He has like marketing power, and he knows about shit. And he uses, even though his content is shit, he can get straight to Facebook and he can reach millions of people just because he can play with whatever the fuck these people play with to get the marketing people. Do you know about that? Like, as a guy with internet websites myself, I'm always getting hit by marketing fucking people offering me, deals for clicks, that kind of thing, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Get 1,000 clicks, get clicks for your website. How to optimize and stuff. I'm like, I just don't even. But there's obviously a whole thing science to that, where even if you've got shitty content, you can finagle it so you can get like exposed on Facebook and stuff to millions of people. But yeah, like my ex Turkish girlfriend, she had no idea about conspiracy theories or anything like that, and then suddenly she's finding out about Sean Adel Talabatay. And what was this? What if you thought? Do you know what I'm talking about? Sean Adel, who was the webmaster of the David Icke Forum.
Well, what I was actually going to ask you about the Icke Forum is there sort of an equivalent now? Because I know it got shut down.
I have no idea. No, it still exists, but it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter about that. But do you know I'm talking about Sean Adel, right?
I don't know the guy, no.
No, well, I met him actually, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, anyway, well, let's move on. So I think we'll play a song, yeah? What do you reckon? If we play your fucking track, amazing, man. Do you want to talk about this track? Because, yeah.
So, Soul of the Earth, yeah, we'll play it. It's 5 minutes 20 long. It's something that's had a few lives, as I was saying to you when we were backstage. It sounded a little bit different. Well, for a start, the vocal was higher. I actually transposed the vocal down to make everything fit a lot more harmonically. So it now sounds a lot more precise, let's say, because there was some key clashing and stuff like this and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, no, it's part of the EP that I've been working on with the mentor who's been giving me some good tips, especially about things like harmonies and keeping things harmonic. Sometimes it's good to have that second set of ears to give critical feedback for you. Because if you imagine, like, I don't know, imagine your favorites, your judgment can get quite clouded when you're a producer, because you're listening to the same thing over and over again, day in, day out, right? When you're working on tracks. So imagine your favorite track, the favorite track you like the most, you love listening to this tune. Imagine having to listen to that every single day, multiple times. And not only that, in sections.
Yeah, so you're downselling something that you should be upselling. So hang on, what's going on?
No, what I'm trying to say is that as a producer, it's
don't
my
talk about
advice. It's kind of like a bit of advice. Basically, what I'm saying is a bit of advice for anyone who's producing. Don't underestimate the power of having a second pair of ears listen to your stuff.
Oh yeah. So who's the second pair? Is it me?
So yeah, a second or third pair.
It's beautiful. It's your best track, man. I love it. I really love it.
Right, I'll tell you when. Stand back.
Yeah, it's come on really well.
My mistake.
No one moves.
But yeah, so she's pretty much done, and yeah, we can stick it on in a second. Yeah, hope you guys enjoy. It's quite a good uplifting vibe to it.
You recently you were not going to hit by copyright strike because this has been released here before it's been officially released, right?
Yep. No copyright problems at all.
Cool. And when did you finish writing this track? I know you said there was one with a higher pitch vocal, but when did you finish this track?
So it's not quite 100% finished, but this version is from yesterday.
Cool. No, I love it, man. Okay, so we're gonna mute and we're gonna 5 minutes. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette and let's go. Yeah. Cool.
Think about it. If anything happens to this, that's it. You're gone.
So much was falling apart. Waiting for you.
Think about it. If anything happens to this, that's it. You're gone.
Yes. Like a real girl.
So yeah, a little Blade Runner movie tribute in that track. That track's called Soul of Earth. I must stop. Playing again. Why is it playing again? Stop it. There we go. That's not going to happen again. So yeah, a little bit of a Blade Runner movie tribute there. What I was saying before, which makes it difficult to be a producer, it makes it difficult to judge your own production, is that you're listening to the track over and over again, and not just the track in full, sections of the track, sections that you're working on, the drop, the vocal, etc. You're having these things on repeat day after day in the studio when you are making the track. So it can really detract from your ability to judge how good it is. And one good thing to do is when you think that you have finished it, because like Michelangelo said, art is never finished, merely abandoned. It's the same, any kind of art, music, you can always improve it to some degree. But when you finally decide that you are happy enough with it, one of the best things to do, and it's not the kind of advice that anybody wants to hear really, but one of the best things to do is just let it rest for a week and then come back to it as if you are a fresh listener. Because if you allow that time to pass, then you can come back to it with a fresh glance, with a fresh set of ears, and you listen to it more like someone who's listened to it for the first time. So you're better able to judge the impact of it, and you're less likely to find it contrived and kind of boring or whatever. And this is why it's great to have a second pair of ears. Like if you have producer friends or even just anybody else who's I don't know, they don't even have to be into the particular form of music. I was going to say they're into the same music. They don't even have to be into the same kind of music. Just anybody else who has functioning ears, and ask them what they would do different. What do they think could be changed? Try to get that critical feedback, because it's so important, because you can only do so much yourself with feedback. You can only do so much yourself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to share. This is a dead star that exploded twice. Now, this is very unusual. We're looking at this here. So astronomers have captured this image here. This interesting ring of fire, ring of gassy blue fire. It's the first image that we've seen of a dead star that's exploded twice, a double supernova. So a double detonation. So what this has done, it has changed the way, well, it's going to change the way we think about how stars, what kind of mass a star needs to go supernova. Because if you look at the description here, this is basically it's a dead star that underwent a double detonation. So using the Very Large Telescope, by the way, don't you love how these things are called? Very Large Telescope. I mean, how long do you think it took them to sit around the table and come up with that name, right? So the team zoomed in on this centuries-old remains of this supernova that's 60,000 light years in Dorado constellation. And it just shows us it was a white dwarf, not a red dwarf, not like the famous red dwarf. And it's the type of remnants that forms when a star with a similar size to the sun runs out of its fuel.
Yes. Mr. Rimmer, yeah, Mr. Rimmer, sir, yeah.
Yes.
No, yes, Mr. Sir, because he pretended he was an officer in that episode. Remember, that was one of the best. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, Red Dwarf. Sorry, go ahead. Remember that episode where Lister pretended at the end he applied to become a catering officer? So we did the catering exam. Is this too much tangent? Do you want to continue?
No, I'm trying to remember the episode.
Yeah, you remember the episode?
I'm trying to remember it. Sorry. So he what? Go on. What were you saying? He applied to be.
Well, your stuff is pending and it's definitely cool. But we're just gonna. But like it was like in the first series. The best Red Dwarf series was the first 2 series because they were like that claustrophobic, waiting for Godot situation. I guess listen. Can someone in our audience tell us they know what Red Dwarf is? Just comment, because I don't know if I'm talking to young people or people who have missed it or people who don't even know what it is. Do you know what I mean?
We're showing our age slightly here, but I mean it's a classic. It's an absolute classic. I mean, I'm hopeful that there are a sort of younger part of the generation who are into it, because I mean it's genius, especially like you say the first few series definitely are the best. But yeah,
anyway, so he can outrank Rimmer and then gain control of the food, and he can have a chance to use his hologram rather than Rimmer to his, and all that, and it's ace. And then at the very end of the episode, so how did you do? And this just says, how did you do? Yeah, how did you do, sir? Yes, Mr. Lister. And I said, no, how did you do? You should address this. So you know how he does. Yes, Mr. Lister, sir. And then, of course, in the next episode, he hadn't passed it. But anyway, go on. Excuse me for the diversion.
No, I remember that. I mean, like any diversion or tangent that involves Red Dwarf is welcome anyway, because Red Dwarf is one of the greatest comedies we've ever had. But yeah, I mean, this thing here is quite a stunning image, really. And I'm just reading through the write-up here. And yeah, so essentially they're trying to say that this is kind of like this is a new discovery, and maybe we're going to start finding more of these double detonated stars. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around all this kind of stuff, isn't it? I mean,
very interesting actually. That's cool. That's cool. And just by you talking about these things, it creates an image in your mind, and then once you've got that image in your mind of these distant phenomenon, it's like it expands your connection to the whole universe. It really does. It's like everything is about ideas in your mind, and if you have something in your mind and an idea and you can fix it and you can think about it, and like we always say here, your mind is the 4-dimensional universe, and this outside is 3D. So inside is more important and powerful than what's outside.
Well, this is kind of what Einstein used to say, isn't it? Like how visualization was so important to him to understand what he was trying to figure out about physics. It was so important for him to have that visualization element.
And Nikola Tesla, of course, famously said that his was it the magnetic induction motor came to him in a flash of light. He just saw light, and saw this thing in his mind that had been sent to him from the light. And he's like, fucking yeah, amazing, right? In his mind, he saw it. He made it from what was in his mind. It had been sent to him in the light. It's so far out, man.
It is crazy as well.
We are receivers. Didn't he say that? Nikola Tesla said we are just like receivers, keep receiving information from the cosmos, and that's so cool.
I mean, I know that he's got a very famous car company named after him, but broadly speaking, I still think that Nikola Tesla is an underrated historical scientific figure.
Well, not in the internet sphere, because he's like a legend. He's like so many memes about Tesla and stuff, right? And of course, the Tesla car, company and stuff is also an acknowledgement of that, because it was all started with back in the day. I mean, when the internet sort of broke, when it got people enough content. What was this? I think 2005 was like a golden age for the internet, because it was before videos were the main means of communication. So it was all about writing and supporting your ideas and quotes and evidence and stuff. And like I was obviously we was doing that. That's what it was. It was like the internet was almost a text-based medium. It was almost like a writer's paradise. Then it became about videos, but then the video people took the information from the writing people who'd created this basis of knowledge, sort of database of knowledge that was on the internet, and then it became videoized, if you want, and then it became more accessible to people. But like Tesla is well acknowledged, except by the mainstream media, who sort of consider him a crank and such, But yeah, he created alternate current, which is what powers our homes right now, and Wi-Fi. I mean, the ideas of Wi-Fi were all sort of, he could transmit power, not just information. Apparently, I mean, he claimed he could transmit power through the airwaves. That he may have managed that, and it may have been silenced. That's one of the things about the Tesla. There's a so-called Tesla death ray and such as well. Patents from Tesla that were sort of somehow controlled by the government and such, or Westinghouse he was involved with, and such like that. Yeah.
It just makes you think if he'd actually have been backed a bit more, because he was
Yeah.
of opposition,
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
what
absolutely.
kind of like you've already mentioned there the things that he was able to influence. What more could we have had by now if he had been given more free
I think
reign?
we'd have free energy. We'd all have free energy. That's if he'd been given every ounce of support from the government, as the sort of and he hadn't been suppressed by Westinghouse and such, and Edison famously, of course, who Edison tried to prove that AC was dangerous because he would execute elephants using alternate current. He's like evil. The thing is, DC it's like not that strong because it needs to be transformers so it can go any distance because it's like a weak current. But the AC current's much more powerful, and then therefore it's like more dangerous because it's more powerful. And he would kill elephants. Edison would kill elephants to show that Tesla was a crank, and it's insane. And he tried desperately for America to adopt DC current, but DC's useless over long distances. And it was ultimately Tesla's AC current, which won the battle of the currents, is what they call it.
This is Topsy
They
the
ain't
elephant.
fighting a gun shop either. Get
This
it?
is Topsy the elephant. This is
Yeah,
who he
yeah. Horrible, man. It's a terrible thing, man. Do you know what I mean?
just
It's appalling.
execute this as an
Claim
agent.
that- They claim it was a violent elephant as well. I think there's that background, right? Is it supposed to be a violent elephant that had to be sentenced and executed?
Hang on a second. Let me get this.
No, I believe so. I believe, Topsy was said to be a violent elephant, but he's anyway. So yeah,
Let's have a look here. There we go. Why did Thomas Edison electrocute an elephant? So yeah, Topsy the elephant suffered abuse throughout her life, leading to a reputation for aggression, as you're saying. So
I know it's mad, isn't it? But there you go. So
this elephant was killed in front of 1,500 spectators. What the hell?
that is, yeah,
What
it's
the hell is
crazy.
going on? Madness.
That's it. It's like that's the power. That's propaganda, though. I mean, I suppose that was enough. It's an evil thing, but it's like it made people think, perhaps temporarily, that AC was dangerous. I mean, obviously it is dangerous. Electricity is dangerous, but the point is DC isn't powerful enough to be sent over long distances, unlike AC. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, listen. I was
You
going
wanted
to do
to
a
talk about meditation a little bit, didn't you? I thought you were going to.
Yeah. I was like, last week we talked about meditation a bit, so like talked about visualization and like that time when I said like I sort of fell through the 3D skin of the 4D hypersphere, and like when we dream and when we die, if we can meditate, we can find that sort of in that state inside. We fall into 4D. That's where we go.
Yeah. Yeah, fully.
So I don't know if I quite talked last week about when you meditate and when you feel this. If you ever meditated, Rob, at Future Shock, I mean,
Not really, no.
yeah. Well, how come? Why not? I mean, why not?
No particular reason. I mean, I just haven't really. I mean, it's a surprise, isn't it? Given that all that we talk about and all the things I talk about in terms of the lucid
Yeah, we
dream.
haven't found the key yet as well. I just remembered we haven't found the key, but carry on.
It's coming. It's incoming. But yeah, so it's
It's
just
coming. Yeah, I only remembered like a week ago, and then sporadically I remember when I'm on a patch of sort of community garden wasteland where everyone is supposedly like where everyone's just drinking and smoking and stuff and hanging out. And I was there recently a few days ago, and I thought, yes, this will be a great place. I didn't find the key because I'm sort of conscious if I find the key, who's the key belong to, and but anyway, we're going to keep the key thing going. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
I mean, in terms of the meditation side of things, it's just not something I just haven't put the effort in, to be honest with you, to do it. It's just I've never quite got around to it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a particular reason for not doing it as such.
Yeah. Right. Well, listen.
I'm sorry, I can't give a fair answer.
No. Listen, the benefits of doing meditation would be extraordinary. I mean, just extraordinary, right? So I'm not going to talk about the benefits of meditation. I'm just going to talk about a little bit of like some of the things. If people do it, just sit on cross leg, right? Close your eyes, whatever. Plug your ears up. Just don't get distracted by anything. Relax. Yeah, dark room, not even dark room, any room, quiet room, and you get this thing. You get this sort of when you start meditating. I've spoken to people about this. They get this sort of feeling that a dark wall is coming towards them. A sort of like you meditate, you're in the dark, right? You close your eyes, you're seeing darkness, right? We close our eyes, we see darkness. It's fine. We're not scared, it's fine. But when you meditate, the darkness seems to come to life, and it comes towards you, and it's like enough. I've spoken to people about this, and it scared them away. It's like made them stop doing it because they think that this darkness coming towards them, like literally, you close your eyes, imagine, right? You get a sudden sense of spatial dimension inside yourself, and you can imagine something coming towards you in your mind, right? Do you know what I mean? Future Shock, you with me?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So this happens in meditation when we use Zen meditation. The only meditation is Zen meditation. You just have to think of nothing. But when you do that, you get this darkness, and then you've got emptiness when you stop thinking, and then you get this darkness coming towards you. Now, this is quite interesting because a lot of people, as I said, have been scared by this, and I'm gonna refer a little bit to Aleister Crowley, right? What do you know about Aleister Crowley?
He has crazy eyes.
Yeah, he could probably hypnotize people.
But yes, he was an occultist, a kind of magician, and all this kind of stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's the wickedest man in the world at one point, and I have no doubt the guy was evil. I mean, but like all bad things, as I've said before, like Scientology, they have good techniques, but they use them for bad ends. You know what I mean?
He founded a religion, wasn't it, of some kind? I think.
Fell in, but he was the head of the OTO as well. The
Right,
Ordo Templi Orientis.
Templar,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, connected to that sort of Freemasonic tradition, but obviously because I think he claimed to supersede the Masons. He said he was like, I don't know, he was kind of, the OTO are kind of above the Freemasons. The Freemasons are just kind of a little sort of outer portico or a gazebo, really. But the main business in the house is satanic, demonic groups contacting spirits. That's the real business. The most Freemasons are sort of charity idiots who think that they're working for the good. They know they're not, but they're doing it just to get on in their careers, or because all their friends are, and because they like the dinners and they like the opportunity of having sex with prostitutes and such, because this is the kind of opportunities the Freemasons offer them. Once you're in the club, you can do anything you want, have anything you want.
I was just going to say, there was a guy who used to release my tracks on his label called Physmatics, and he was a Freemason.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, I think he was just a bit more, I don't know how to put this, but he was kind of naive to the depth of it in a way. I think he was kind of a superficial Freemason.
A lot of them are, or a lot of them think they're good people. I've met, I recently, actually, weirdly, before I lived recently with a Spanish guy who was the master mason of his lodge, and that doesn't just mean he's a third-degree mason. It means he was the master of the lodge. And I lived with him, and he was a fucking lunatic. He was insane. He was quite proud. He would tell me that he had what's that? ADHD. Yeah, he said, "Oh no, I have ADHD." I mean, I nearly got into a fight with him, and I scared him away. But I mean, yeah, and he's the master of in Southwest London, the master. He's but he's a fucking idiot, a lunatic, a short Spanish guy, and I nearly got into a fight with him, and I scared him away. Because anyway, we had kitchen politics going on, but these are the kind of people. He didn't think he was evil. He thought we actually got on quite well initially, because he's spiritual and believes in the same things I do. That's the thing. They know some of the things we talk about, but they're just fucking lunatics. They just twist it around, and they get into a club, and they sort of like mentally, I mean, there's nothing that's mentally ill but people, but they shouldn't be ruling the world,
So how was this kind of coming out, like, whilst you were living with him then? What sort of things was he doing? You know, was it stuff that he was doing around the house that was causing problems or whatever, or weird behavior?
Well, all right. Do you want me to tell you the story of what happened? Because
Yeah,
we
you go.
got on well enough, and you know, he did a nice Spanish barbecue and all this, and he was, you know, we were sort of in the same area of employment, kind of same domain, so we had that in common. I played guitar. He played cello, and he was like a musician, professional musician. But one day, I was cooking about 1 a.m. And listen, this you don't want to know about this. This isn't important to the show. But anyway, we had a set 2. Anyway, listen, and I just dealt with him because I said anyway. I'm not going to say what I said, but he ran away. So anyway, but
He ran away.
yeah, and I can say I defeated the Master Mason of. I didn't know what lodge he was, but yeah, I dominated him. I totally dominated him.
But did you have to move out? What happened to the sort of house situation after
No,
that?
he moved out. He was gone overnight. He was like he disappeared. He was gone. Like we didn't know he'd gone, and suddenly his room was empty, and we was like, yes, because he was an arsehole to the other people as well. So like and then it became fucking party house. We had a house actually, so it was like we were having a great time. But yeah. So anyway, I don't know whether you talk. I'm talking too much, man. Come on.
He just literally disappeared.
I know what I'm talking about. Like, well, he obviously packed up and went. You know, he left the room. You know, he was gone.
That suggests a bit of mental weakness. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never, apart from the guy who ran Physmatics, who, to be honest with you, ostensibly was a decent guy, and to be fair, he unfortunately he passed away a couple of years ago, and he was very supportive of me and my sort of creative exploits. So I can't really say, and he never did anything kind of wrong. How can I put this? There was a bit of an edge to him. You always had that kind of like, you felt like he could slip a little bit. He could slip into a bit of some weird behavior sometimes. I saw it on Facebook. Sometimes he'd put some weird posts up, to people, replies to people and stuff. So he was kind of on edge. He was on the edge a lot of the time. But yeah, he's the only one, as far as I'm aware anyway. I must have probably met others without realizing, but he's the only Freemason who I've knowingly known in my real life, so to speak. So
yeah,
I
mean, one of my closest friends is a Freemason as well. So it actually doesn't, he's still a great guy, and he's just, I think he told me he was a second degree, so entered apprentice. So is that a second degree? Gosh, I should know. I mean, I'm not a Mason, so but yeah, I mean, he's a great guy, so he's like, no, first degree is apprentice. Yeah, the Masons out there who won't be out there, but yeah, fellow craft second, but yeah, no, he's actually a great guy. I think it's when you get to the third degree in Freemasonry, you start to get fucked up, and then after that, it's just because nothing after the third degree exists in supposedly, but it does. It goes up to 99 degrees, 33 degrees, depending on the rite. But yeah, then you do the Royal Art, and it's really cheese pizza time. Honestly, these guys are into cheese pizza, but yeah, you know what I mean.
So the Master Mason is like the highest degree, it's the highest order that you can achieve, sort of thing.
No, it isn't. It's the outer. It's the Blue Lodge. It's the 3 degrees of the Blue Lodge. There's only 3 degrees, and those 3 degrees are sort of just a portal to both choosing to pursue a Scottish or the French rite, or the Memphis rite, which has 99 degrees. The Scottish, the York rite, Scottish rite has 33 degrees, etc., etc. So a Scottish rite, 33 degree Freemason. But the thing is, also there's a subtlety, because there's also a parallel system within Freemasonry, which kind of, if you could feasibly become a 33 degree Freemason, but just by enacting just the rituals, but not by actually doing the secondary experience which they provide for you, which is, we've talked about things like street theater and the movie The Game with Michael Douglas by David Fincher. Do you remember that? You seen that movie?
Fincher,
or
yeah.
even Anger Management with Jack Nicholson, or even Jacob's Ladder. But there's so many movies which or Fight Club, which are about secret initiatory groups which exist on the streets and which provide experiences for people on the streets, and not just within lodges, because most of the real business of Freemasonry doesn't happen in lodges and buildings. It happens in the world outside, whether it be the senior editor of a newspaper tapping you on the shoulder and giving you a handshake and telling you what to write, or such and such and such. But then there's also these initiatory programs which take place in public without the public knowing what's happening. I mean, it happened to me. I've literally been involved in rituals in the street with these people coming around me and extraordinary things happening. That's what they do. They create extraordinary experiences and changes in mental chemistry. And as we've discussed before, it leads to the adrenochrome sort of crisis, which then sort of sends you into another dimension, right?
But
and then you've eliminated, you know?
Importantly, they couldn't recruit you, though. That's the thing. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
you were unrecruitable.
I mean, no, unrecruitable, because the hook was, the bait was make you a famous writer. And like, yeah, okay, but yeah, all right, I don't mind. I'd like that. But when I see the people who are offering that to me and what they are, I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to be with these people, you know? They're really crazy. They're really evil. And I can't even tell you the things that they tried to do and they imposed on me. It's nasty, you know?
Why do you not?
It's nasty for me for them to do it, because it really is the worst you can imagine. They'll try and bait you and tempt you with things you don't even want, but things to compromise you and corrupt you, you know?
Well, what got them interested in the first place? So was it the stuff that you were posting online, the stuff you'd already written, or what? What was that?
No, the thing is, the irony is the stuff I've written and stuff came after the meeting these people and realizing that I've got to expose these people and talk about this, you know, what this is all about. So it came like I was in France, and I had a girlfriend. I met her in London, and we went to France, and it became clear that she and her family and friends were involved in secret societies.
Right.
So I'd meet people who would offer me like shakes, like they were playing an accordion. That's what they do, right? Freemason will take your hand, and they'll go through the different grips. They call them grips. They're handshakes. They're special handshakes. So they'll do one. If you don't respond to that, they'll do another, and they'll keep going until it's their highest handshake, and they want you to answer that with a similar thumb press on one of their knuckles. And so she was mixed up with this stuff. And so what happened is, I mean, you know, we were a couple, like we were together for like 5 years, and we got on well, and it was like, you know, she was an interesting person, but she was also into the occult. So when I got to France, we went to this specific place in the mountains and in the Massif Central, where I unknowingly got involved in an Illuminati training course. So
yeah, I remember you saying, yeah.
So this is something I've written about, and this is how they program people. So preferably they want to have like a residential course. So you're confined within this group of people for like, I think it's like, I can't remember, is it 10 days, the Buffer course, how long it took? Sort of 10 to 12 days or something such as that. So you're basically enrolled in sort of something like a Cub Scout sort of environment where you have communal meals, and you have to, well, it's beyond Cub Scouts, because you're trained. Basically, this course was training you to be like a sort of the French are weird. They like all adults to be trained to be sort of scout leaders. So a lot of young French people are trained in this sort of qualification to be sort of scout leaders, which means they can work with children, teenagers in outdoor settings, camping, just like they can be trusted.
Right.
You know what I mean? To be a sort of whatever, and they know how to entertain or how to organize things for children and groups and things like this. But the French are really into this, and they have a special course where they do this. But this particular course was like a special course which had been adapted for me. And so what it is, it's called a Delphi technique. It's that technique where you and also Common Purpose do this. I think I've talked about this before, but
yeah, I remember you
mentioned
mentioning Delphi technique. Yeah, it just rings a bell.
Well, basically, they try and break your ego and personality, and they try and guide you into another way of thinking, which is the group think. So all of these things are sort of exercising in taking away your individuality and putting you into a group thinking environment where you feel so confused and weakened in yourself that you start to follow the suggestions of the group and the authority in the group and such, and then you can be molded and fit to the system. But the important thing is to accept authority for these people first of all. So they put me into this situation where I was with like all these French people, like I think there was 30 people on the course and the so-called trainers and stuff. But the reality is different. The reality is that the people who are on the course are talking to you, sleeping in a dormitory with you, like a 6-bed dorm and such. They're actually observing you and they're part of the program as well.
Right. Okay.
Talked about this, haven't we? How it would be so easy to actually, to break. This is things they've been doing for years. They've been learning how to break people and brainwash people, and they can do it just by imposing people in that environment who they don't know, they trust initially, and then the trust, etc. They try and earn trust, and then once you trust that person, you're emotionally vulnerable, and then they can turn and become the authority figure because the program's dictated that they're going to control your thoughts and break down your individuality and such, right?
It's crazy. I know.
Makes sense,
I know we touched on this before a couple of weeks ago on the show, so I'm not like sort of trying to go over all ground, but it is quite crazy to think just how easily manipulated people could be in public by an organization that would have a desire to do so, because you could just start planting people into people's lives and doing odd things, breaking up conversation. It's actually very easy to do, and it could be easily subtly done.
But if you can't control that person, you can break them as well. So
yeah,
exactly. they learn they could work together to break that person completely, and then they could control them.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't really have to be something that's done quickly. You could just like have this happening over a period of weeks and months.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it wouldn't be that obvious. It wouldn't be that trackable, or like, if you're somebody who's going to a gym or going to a public place often, then you can just kind of insert someone into that environment.
A few people in that environment. Do you know what I mean? And they could pretend that they were different people with no common agenda, and they would appear to be different people, but they could coalesce on something, and they could easily destabilize a person just by 3 people against 1 could really, you know what I mean? Most people would be freaked out and upset, and they couldn't handle some criticism or some attack and some negativity from 3. You know what I mean? We're all vulnerable to negativity and criticism and looks and such, but imagine if something was organized to do that to you.
Yeah, and you wouldn't know, like you wouldn't have any inkling because it would just be so subtle. So it's not like something is going to be like bounding in an obvious way, especially the people who would be doing this as well. Obviously they'd be trained in the different techniques that they're going to use, and they could be as subtle as possible, but it could still have quite a big impact on you, especially over a course of time. So it does get you wondering, like when does this, how often does this happen to people? Like, how could this
happens all the time. It happens all the time. It happens in corporate training, and people being sent off to do courses. It's happened to me quite a few times. Like there's organizations like International House across the world which do this, which they don't do it for everyone, but there's this sort of plausible deniability that they have with these courses, where the course, there will be normal following of the course, but with certain people in certain situations, they will make a special course. And I've experienced this a few times actually, because I've been all over the world, and so I the Illuminati, they was trying to suck you in, because being an international traveler and etc., speaking languages, it's great cover for spies and Freemasons to influence and spread their connect, because that's what they want to do. That's their aim, is just to have as many people in positions and flexibility and ability to reach places, and that's what they do. That's what they want. They want that kind of. They want people who are ever who can be connected, who can make connections, who are intelligent, who have. Well, listen, I mean, who have. I believe my ancestral family is part of this as well. I've got Illuminati bloodline. I don't know. I think it is relevant. I mean, also I've got like witchcraft. I'm from a Norwegian, like partially Norwegian family, and I've like my grandmother was a witch, so I do have an occult sort of thing in me. I've always been drawn to the occult. I've always been drawn to not just the occult, but just drawn to spiritual knowledge and drawn to God. I mean, for my part, I've been more drawn to God than the occult, but I was drawn to both. And for one time, I thought I was serving both God and the occult and magic, but I realized I wasn't. And then I had a sort of awareness update where I realized I was fucking up and being a twat. And so I became a Christian and realized, yeah, I want to serve God, but you can still twist 4D, even serving God, but you have to, it's about discipline and realize don't serve your own needs, serve the needs of others or something, or pray. I mean, prayer is like, it's like a 4-dimensional request to help, maybe help yourself sometimes if you're really desperate, but also to help other people, you know?
Yeah, and it's just also it's useful tool, for want of a better word, it's a useful tool to try to figure out how to sort of navigate reality and to sort of ask for any guidance or help or how to discern reality a bit better going forward, this kind of thing. But yeah, you're having a almost, shall we say, 4D, 4-dimensional conversation or communion, contact, whichever word you like, because it's obviously you're not talking to something that's really in 3D. You know, you are within 3D, obviously, but the connection that you're having is a higher dimensional connection when you're making that prayer or that request, whatever it is. So yeah, I don't personally, I'm not like a big prayer as such. However, I do, you know, I will ask for guidance sometimes, and oftentimes I'll see the subsequent reality manifestations which kind of guide me and give me a clue about what to do or what not to do. And, you know, the doors get opened for you, and it's up to you to whether you are able to walk through those doors properly or competently. So not always the case.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's really cool. Totally agree with you, bro. Totally agree. It's all in you. We don't know what power we have. I mean, this is why I love Jesus, because Jesus is always telling us the power we had. You know, if only our faith was as small as a mustard seed, we would tell the mountain to move and it would move for us, right? So like you would say to the mountain, move, and it would move. The mustard seed, man, is the smallest seed, and Jesus made a point of saying that the mustard seed is the smallest seed, and that's quantum, man. Smallest seed, the smallest extremity is where the power is, inside in the quantum realm, deep within the subatomic realm.
Yeah, because essentially you're going to some degree downwards, aren't you? Like if you're going to access the nexus point, the connecting point to higher dimensionality isn't out there in space amongst the stars. It's the opposite, isn't it? It's deep down
exactly. Yeah.
It's deep down into the atom, and to some degree, it's almost like this reality is being essentially, to some degree, pushed out, projected. Yeah, exactly. So this is the thing that people get a bit mixed up with when people talk about higher dimensions and what this and all this kind of stuff. It's like it's not something that exists, you know, off Earth or out into the galaxy or the universe or something like that. That's just more 3D.
Yeah, exactly. That's just expanding entropy and just the edge of reality. But not, it's the edge of three-dimensional physical reality. But there's a core. It's like universe is an expanding orange. And this C.S. Lewis talked about the skin of life. You know how we're. Because, do you know C.S. Lewis? Do you know anything about the Space Trilogy? I mean, it's bloody amazing.
The writer?
Man. Yeah, man, C.S. Lewis, the writer. I don't know.
Yeah, I know a bit. I know a little bit. I don't know. I can't say I'm an expert or whatever, but yeah.
No, man, you should be. You get into it now. Listen, he's so is a so-called Christian apologist, but he's so much more. You know, I mean, obviously, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, it's okay. It's a nice thing, but it's kind of vanilla. It's okay. But if you want the hardcore C.S. Lewis, hardcore Christian,
Voyage of the Dawn Treader and all this.
Yeah, no. The best one is The Magician's Nephew. The best of the Narnia trilogy is The Magician's Nephew, because it's all about a creepy Freemason uncle, and it is that character. He knew what Freemasons were, and he depicted a creepy, weird Freemason uncle, and in all of his but from his evil there came like this, like it's like a battle between heaven and earth, and the witch in the Chronicles of Narnia, she's actually a human, and she's within this timeline. Like, so that's the origin story. The Magician's Nephew is the origin story of the whole of Narnia and the earth and the battle between etc., which I haven't read for a long time. But C.S. Lewis was an occultist. He was an occultist. He and Tolkien as well. They were both sort of mixed up with the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
So I thought for some reason, I don't know why,
who was behind enemy lines, and he came out and he wrote, like I've talked about the Screwtape letters as well, where I've quoted them as well, where it's about narrating how demons control humans by just whispering intonations and such. Remember this stuff?
Yeah.
But he knew, man. I mean, we've done C.S. Lewis. I've done C.S. Lewis before, like a lot, but this guy knew. And he sort of he underwent something, because he talked about an initiation where he had to spit on the cross, which is a Illuminati thing. So he was sucked into something really quite high. I think him becoming a Christian was a defense against any sort of repercussions from revealing that stuff. But the thing is with C.S. Lewis, it's almost as if he's been deliberately misrepresented as a children's writer, but he's not. And that almost is part of the conspiracy, is to take away the venom and the power of C.S. Lewis as a Christian polemicist and make him into a cuddly children's writer, talking about what Lion, the Witch, and the fucking Wardrobe, which is kind of vanilla Christian allegory, but the real core is in Magician's Nephew, which is like quite an adult book in that series. It's an adult book about humans and how they get corrupted, and what happens when they get corrupted, and also his space trilogy, which is about scientism and how it's secretly corrupt within the Illuminati, by what we were talking about before, by a spiritual force called the Macrobes, which is basically demonic influence over planet Earth. Which is a true Christian knows that's the case. That's like something that, as a Christian, you can't deny. There's not you can't deny there's. I mean, okay, some people go crazy and say there's demons everywhere. But there's definitely spiritual forces everywhere. You know, that's just the facts. I mean, if you deny that, you're not dealing with reality, you know?
Yeah, I think that as well, when you're somebody who is like quite used to being on, like, okay, so for example, I grew up in the Yorkshire countryside. I was living in a house on a hill, far removed from everywhere else. I think when you have that kind of, I won't call it loneliness because that's not right, or solitude, it seems a bit negative to call it that. But I think you become a bit more aware of these kind of more spiritual things that you're mentioning, talking about here, when you do have that more of that time to yourself. If you're somebody who's had more time to yourself, as opposed to growing up in a household with 2-3 brothers, sisters, stuff like that. And the point I'm making basically is that I think the reason that it resonates with me, or that I seem to have an awareness of this thing, is kind of largely born and raised in the fact that I was like really on my own a lot as a kid. And again, I don't want to make that out to be like sad, like I wasn't sort of like lonely or anything like that. But I think there's a definite difference. There's a discernible difference in reality interpretation of people who have grown up as like an only child versus somebody who's grown up with several brothers and sisters in a hectic household. Because my house wasn't anything but hectic. It was the complete opposite.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, there was one thing I was going to mention, because I don't think I've told this story.
That's the question. Has that given you, do you have I mean, this is quite a personal question, but do you have a sense of inner peace?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to. I think I know what you mean by that. I'm not sure exactly how you're defining that, but my immediate reaction to that would be yes. Yeah, I think
You'd get that in a place like that, I think, living, growing up there, right?
Yeah, and I think just also that comes from belief and knowledge in sort of things like the afterlife and spirituality, and the fact that 3D, this is just like a 3D reality where it's temporary, and we will be going back to 4D eventually. I think that there's a certain level of comfort in that, even though it's quite an unknown quantity, just to a certain degree. And I think that just gives you an inner peace in of itself. I mean, if people,
it does, bro. It does, yeah, for sure, yeah.
So I mean, because otherwise, contrast that with someone who doesn't have an inclination like that. And they just, because I've got a friend of mine who's a good friend of mine. He's an intelligent guy. He's worked his way up he's in the same profession as me. He's worked his way up right to the to the top of that profession, and he basically believes that after you die there's nothing. He is firm in that belief, and I just don't understand how you can really kind of like reconcile living your life like that. I don't know. It must be a very different. Can you have inner peace? Like, does he? I don't know. I've never asked him the question, obviously, but yeah, I don't know if you can have the same level of inner peace if that's what your belief is.
You know what I think? I mean, this has been like, I think inner peace is like, I don't know what to say, but I think it could be like, is it a character? No. Okay, everyone can be changed, everyone can be improved, but and this the 4D, this awareness is like, it's miraculous. It's like it's very simple to see. If you can see it, if you can engage with that awareness, that what you're doing, Future Shock is like the things you're saying. When you're feeding back, it's like, yeah, you completely understand that and you've assimilated the concept. So yeah, you're going to get that peace because you believe in it. It's like it is belief, but it's more than knowledge. It's belief as well, because these things are so fundamental to who we are. It's not merely knowledge or sort of like data, but it's something that's fundamental to you and your consciousness and who you are and what everything means. So it's more than scientific data, isn't it? It's knowledge, but it is scientific and it is researched. And I go to a great lengths to try and justify my rhetoric. But yeah, it gives you.
Yeah, it's not wishy-washy. It's not something you're not presenting anything in a wishy-washy way at all. No.
But that does indeed give you like almost a spiritual satisfaction, and it is spiritual. But there's a way to. I'm not going to say there's a way to understand this without faith. Well, but there is in a sense. But because we live in a world now where we can almost taste the next world. Is it closer to us than it was before? If you follow
that's a difficult question, isn't it?
Science, if you really follow the science and look at what science is telling you, but if you can read it with your own eyes and not the scientific dogma, which means because of course scientists won't get their grants renewed and such if they start talking about God and such, because that isn't what the controlling force want. So everything's manipulated from science, media, education. Absolutely, I mean, absolutely everything is manipulated, and people are controlled and compartmentalized. And the sciences are kept separate, so they don't ever have a chance of unifying and finding the ultimate truth, because they could if there was like a global one science where everything was understood and joined together. It would like make you understand what I'm saying, Peter Shock. Without, I'm not trying to get too sort of.
I mean, well, there's a lack of understanding as well. The two can be married to a degree, or there is kind of a crossover, blurring of the lines again type thing. It doesn't have to be regimentally religious. It doesn't have to be regimentally scientific. And
exactly,
I feel like we've got, to your point, it's an interesting point you just made, actually, is like, do we have a closer connection to it now in modern times versus people back? I don't know what I would say is the answer to that. Part of me wants to say we don't, but also we do in a way as well, because we've got better scientific understanding. So
it's interesting. Back in the past, the idea would be that the mass populace would be controlled into believing in priest-controlled religion, which would show them wonders and miracles, and they would believe in that God, whatever that God was. But everyone would believe in it, and if you didn't believe in it, you were weird. You would like be sort of persecuted, perhaps by your neighbors, or you would be not allowed in that part of town. You couldn't live with those people because, well, famously, I mean, how many Christians died because they refused to burn incense to the emperor or to whatever crazy statues they had, etc., etc. Right? I mean, the Romans weren't stupid, but they knew that they couldn't face a god that couldn't be contained within a statue. So a god that wasn't a statue was outside the Romans' power and influence. So they had to persecute anyone who believed that God wasn't a statue. That they could, you see what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because Christians believed God wasn't a statue, which is a pretty good basis of thought, I would have thought, really. I mean, in this scientific sort of reality we live in, I mean, it's pretty wise to say God wasn't a statue.
Yeah, so I just pinned
even though further back, you don't have to kill, you don't have to do abominable acts to children for the statue. Because if you go further back, the statue will make you do anything to those you love or anyone. It's total control of everything, every aspect, emotional aspect. Imagine that. Bad as things are, imagine if you lived in a world where your firstborn child could be taken away from you and burnt. And I mean, I don't want to say any more, but I might trigger some YouTube things. But you know what I mean? This is how bad things used to be back in the day.
100%. And so I've just pinned a comment there, reincarnation like Gaudi. And I think, I'm not sure, I just had to look that up. You know, do you know much about Anthony Gaudi and alleged reincarnation? I'm just sort of reading about it here.
Can't claim to do so. I think, isn't Gaudi a Spanish architect who's famous for the Barcelona Cathedral, Gracia de la Maria? I don't know. I don't have no idea, but literally no idea.
He was a guy who...
Hebrew, come on, spill the beans, bro. Or even
Gaudi's a guy who went through like a spiritual transformation.
I don't know. I actually don't know. How cool. Okay, Sangria La Familia. That's okay. Thanks, Hebrew. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's one of the famous structures that he built, isn't it?
Sangria La Familia, right.
Sagrada Familia. Let's look what that looks like.
Okay, reference to Gaudi. Okay, we're all up for that, yeah. I think
okay. Okay. Wow, that's impressive. Let me share this, sorry, because that is impressive. Hang on.
Is it Barcelona? Basilica de la Sagrada Familia, Hope of the Sacred Family.
I mean, I don't even know which picture to choose because they're all good, but like, yeah.
But anyway, reincarnation like Gaudi. What does he mean by that? We're going to pick that apart.
It's a sheep. It's a sheep.
Sheep? How do you know?
Because the picture.
Oh, I mean, I don't click. Okay, you looking at the pictures, boy. Oh yeah. Okay, listen. This is the internet, bro. Pictures don't mean nothing. All right. Hebrew is that?
I happen to know. I know this. I know this young lady. It's definitely a young lady. So.
Çok güzel. Hoş geldiniz. I love Turkish people. I had a lovely time in Turkey. I lived there for a year in Edirne and 2 years in North Cyprus. Really great people. Is this a Turkish lady?
Yes.
Oh, great. More power to you. Yeah.
So it's a place I've tried. You know, it's on the list of places to visit, basically.
Totally. Yeah. I like North Cyprus though. That's a great place. Yeah.
Say that again,
cool.
sorry.
Okay, so reincarnation like Gaudi. Did Gaudi believe in reincarnation? Is that?
So what I was going to say with it was like, what are your thoughts on that? I'm not sure if we've covered reincarnation much on the show by memory. I can't quite remember, but
okay. So listen, we've got AI here sorting me out. Question refers to the idea of reincarnation like Gaudi in the context of architecture and design, suggesting a connection between Gaudi's work and the concept of reincarnation. Yeah. There's no literal reincarnation of Gaudi. Listen, I'm not deferring to AI, but one example. Actually, no, I don't know what you're talking about. So, Hebrew, you've got to tell us what But you're talking. I don't know what you're talking about. Reincarnation like Yadi. I just don't know. So please post again and educate me. Yeah, I always want to learn. Listen, I might play a tune. Shall I play?
Yeah.
Wrap it up, or what should we do?
Yeah. Put a tune on you.
I'll bang a tune on, man. So yeah. Oh, hang on. We got a new comment from. Okay, cool. All right, I'll play a tune, and here we go. This is from Sandwich Pan, and I'm gonna play. Actually, I don't know what I'm gonna play. That's annoying. Play this. Yeah.
How long is this one? Yeah.
4.5.
4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I'll see you in a sec.
Yep.
Both names will be Wayne, and who'll get the blame? It'll be us again. All his brothers are the same. They're the old place to blame. I'm the one who chose the name. They think we are insane when we try to explain. We both like the name. We both like the name. We both like the name. Wayne, Wayne. Wayne, Wayne. Wayne, Wayne. Wayne, Wayne. Wayne, Wayne. Wayne, Wayne. Wayne, Wayne.
All right, we're back.
Yo,
Yay. Yes. So happy. I managed to play a track again, and I stopped it before it played itself again, which is something bit StreamYard wants to do to you every single time. So every time you press play on one of your media library tracks, it just wants to loop it. Unless I've got I've got my settings wrong. Yeah, all right, I fucked up. All right, Future Shock, do you want to say something? I feel silly now. Just realised it was me fucking it up. Go on.
say that again. Sorry, I missed that last bit. What did you say? Sorry.
No, listen. Oh, come on, bro. Listen to a bro when he's broadcasting. I mean,
I was trying to, but the mic dipped. The mic dipped, so I couldn't hear what you were saying the last bit. So
listen, I'm not even VPN'd up now, so everyone should be able to hear me okay, relatively okay. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
It's fine. It's been fine. Like 95% of the time, it's been fine. It just kind of like my mic probably dips in and out sometimes, you know.
No, it ain't about that. It's actually, it doesn't matter because I fucked up. Actually, realized one of the problems I've been having with StreamYard was that it looped tracks, but then I realized I actually had highlighted the loop track icon. Yeah, the depths of human stupidity. We're all capable of achieving them on a daily basis, and it keeps me humble. Do you know what I mean? Realizing I can be very stupid, and I think we should all accept that we, like in a sort of Socratean sense, that we're ultimately very stupid people. We're all stupid, and we just have to try and not be as stupid. But yeah, I've been stupid. Anyway, Rob, change the subject. Stop me being stupid.
Wise person knows they know nothing. That's the thing, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
It does make you wonder though sometimes, because it makes you wonder, like, we think we're advanced with our, level that we're at the moment with the internet and whatever we're making at the moment, and the sending rockets to Mars potentially and whatever. But yeah, we still really don't know anything. We're still kind of sitting ducks on this planet, aren't we? If anything wanted to potentially, look at what I was talking about on the last show with Atlas, the latest interstellar visitor that has entered into the solar system, 3 Atlas, 20 kilometers wide meteor, which is thankfully not going to hit Earth, because that's, bye-bye. If that hits Earth, bye-bye to everyone. So it is kind of jarring and slightly concerning and disconcerting that these things are now suddenly appear, the way that this sort of thing will suddenly appear. And so my point is, we are kind of just like we're sat at the mercy of the galaxy, really, of our local area. Because, as you can see from the clip that I played earlier, it's pretty busy up there as it is. And that's just a tiny patch of space that we were looking at. I would love to see I'm going to have to do a bit more research before the next show into where we can see more of these videos, because they're just kind of fascinating to watch, like the video I showed before. It's just fascinating to watch what's going on up there, because it's busier and there's it's just more interesting than you would think. Because I think people just think, oh, it's desolate space out there, there's nothing really going on. But I played that clip for about a couple of minutes, and we saw like 6 shooting stars. We saw things turning themselves on and off. We saw space debris, query space debris, maybe UFOs. And that's just in a couple of minutes of watching a small patch of space. It'd be great if you could have more cameras out there doing more live feeds and watching different parts of low orbit atmosphere, because that's what we were looking at. We were looking at, obviously the edge of the Earth was there, and we're just sort of looking at low orbit near Earth activity. It's really fascinating to watch. And it's the way everything moves as well. It's got an unerring way of moving. Like, if you've ever sort of done a bit of stargazing, you see that things move in this kind of unerring way, whether it's an asteroid entering into the atmosphere, whether it's a satellite, the way satellites move. They have this weird way of gliding through the air, it's a bit almost unnerving in a way. Maybe it's just the fact that you're not used to seeing those things, so they're just a bit unusual. Maybe that's all it is. But yeah, it's always been fascinating. And like I alluded to a couple of minutes ago, growing up in the Yorkshire, essentially the Yorkshire Dales on top of a hill, you got to see out of the window a bit better. You know, you were looking out the window of a spaceship sometimes, especially in summer evenings when it was clear skies in the night, and you could see wall-to-wall stars. I mean, it wasn't quite as good as being able to see from the top of a Chilean observatory or something, but yeah, it was still, I mean, like, how could you not cultivate a fascination? I remember the first time that I looked at the sun for the first time through a telescope. That was weird. And I remember the first time I saw a star.
Did you have a filter on the telescope?
Yeah. I had the sun lens, sun filter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of turned the sun
What
green.
was it like?
So it kind of blew it up. It made it really, really big, and it was kind of a bit of an odd effect.
Did you see any sunspots?
No, it wasn't that detailed, but it just sort of blew the sun up. It made it sort of like a bit bigger. You couldn't really see. It turned it green for some reason. It's just the way the lens was, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, the sun isn't orange anyway, is it? He's kind of like, I mean, he's sort of a more white color, isn't it? White blue type color.
Well,
I might be wrong.
Visible light is white light, but I mean, light is like white light, and then that's how visible light is white light, and then it diffracts into different colors. But the color of the sun is supposedly an yellow-orange star. You know, I guess it's just it's about the spectra of light that comes from body of the sun. So it's like orange spectra, you know. And like, so it's because it's cooler, so it's orange. It's cool. It's cooler. It's a cooler body than a blue star or a white star that burn hotter. So they're white. A hot star is a white star, which is completely white. So it's like, but then blue stars are even hotter than white stars, right? I think I'm right.
Blue supergiants.
Are blue stars the hottest stars?
I think it might be the blue supergiant. I'm not sure in terms of actual temperature.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, but blue stars are hotter than white stars. That's very interesting. And it's suggestive. It's suggestive that there's a spectra of light that we can't see that is beyond blue star. It's like high energy, like blue star, it's highest energy hot stars. It appears blue.
Yeah.
So
These
like,
are blue
like ultraviolet. Yeah, and they're hotter than white stars, but you'd have thought white star, because it's white, it's the totality of the light spectrum, but blue is hotter. It's quite interesting.
And they can literally be 1,000,000 times more bright than our own sun. These blue supergiants. It's because you can't even imagine that, can you? I mean, like, how can you even?
No, well, I mean, what I imagine is what kind of life would exist in such a place, you know?
I think our most local one is Rigel, isn't it? In the old Orion constellation, a constellation which has some question marks over it for sure. But yeah, I think our closest supergiant is Rigel. I'm sure you've heard of Rigel. It's quite a sort of, in the scientific community anyway, quite a famous name of a star. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, listen, we're going to wrap up in a minute, and I guess I did mention. Did I mention the Abyss and Crowley in some of the video? So I just got to cover that, I suppose, because we've had a nice discussion, but that sort of black wall that is meditation. Something is stomping you and taking over you or coming towards you. Well, I mean, like I was trying to say before, that even Crowley and Ron Hubbard and even the Catholic Church, they all have interesting good techniques that are useful in themselves, but they can use. So anyway, this darkness is known as the Abyss in Thelema. I'm only saying this because Crowley. I'm not saying this to be correct Crowley in any way, but he is someone who did experimentation, he knew the power, but obviously he used that power for bad ends. So it's the Abyss. It represents a barrier which the Adepts must traverse to attain, well, Magister Tempus, So this is something within the OTO. When you traverse this abyss, you become a mad master of the temple. It's all bullshit, of course, but what isn't bullshit is the meditation aspects and the point that there is a sort of thing that comes to you, and I'll try to explain what that is. The journey involves the complete dissolution of the ego, and according to Thelema and also John Dee and his associate, can't remember his name right now, annoyingly. Edward, can't remember, but I will move on. It's annoying, but never mind. This Stronzon is a demon guarding the abyss. So, according to Crowley, there's a demon guarding this abyss, which is this darkness. And the thing is, though, it's not a literal demon. It's an aspect of our mind and our, like, that's a funny thing because we've asked before in the case of some schizophrenic delusions, why would the mind sabotage itself?
Yeah.
We've asked that question. Like, if human nature and humanity were hardwired to survive, why would a schizophrenic have delusions and want to kill himself or being taught? Because that isn't from him; it's from outside. So this Stronzon, this demon, well, they call it a demon, but what it really is, it's the sort of it's the ego and it's the thoughts in the mind that for some reason when you meditate, the thoughts, they try and hang on to you. They don't want you to escape, and that's really weird. I mean, scientifically, it doesn't make sense scientifically, but I suppose we're so ingrained in the habit of thought and thinking and we could say stress and rumination and going over things, and so we get locked into a habit of thinking that thinking will solve our problems, and thinking that thinking is the end of everything, and that thinking is wisdom. But there's an awareness level beyond thinking when you meditate, and you go beyond thought and you suppress thought deliberately, and ultimately your ego sort of disappears, because without thought there's no ego. But then that doesn't mean you disappear as a person. It doesn't mean like you stop being you. You're still you, but you just don't have any baggage or attachments or mental history. You start as a new consciousness.
That's kind of like a dream experience. Sorry to cut in just slightly. When you're still you in a dream, but you don't have the thought and baggage, like you say, the baggage of your wakeful reality kind of thing. It's like that moment that occurs when you wake up, just before everything comes flooding back. There's that moment, isn't there, when you kind of like wake
liminal
up.
State. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Hence subliminal.
Yeah. So you're kind of like in this sort of split second of almost purity and freedom, until like all the memories come back, and maybe something bad happened the day before. You start to remember that. Maybe you split up with your girlfriend. That comes back to you a couple of seconds in. All this kind of stuff. So yeah, there is that interesting little moment where you're just kind of like almost most purely you, egoless, memoryless, just kind of like pure consciousness. They're a very split second, because obviously your memories and everything come back like very quickly. But yeah, there is that little sliver of a moment. Sorry, go on.
Okay, so yeah, and I think Plato, obviously quoting Socrates, he sort of said that philosophy is, and that's quite radical coming from one of the greatest of philosophy, because our philosophy is atheistic. The greatest philosopher, Socrates, stated that philosophy is just a way to learn how to die, and then be ready for when your soul separates from your body.
Yeah.
So anyway, the thing is, this is Thelema. This is Crowley's religion. He was a meditator. He hypnotized people. He obviously had a very powerful mind. But the fact is, within his theology, so-called, he sort of had this demonic force. But really, this darkness that sort of approaches you when you meditate, it is nothing. There's nothing. The only thing to fear is fear itself. And so this darkness, if anyone out there wants to try meditating, you should. And when you find yourself, this darkness coming towards you, it's only playing on your fears. It's like that Never-Ending Story. Do you ever see that movie, The Never-Ending Story?
No, okay, so two things on that. I was literally about to mention that movie earlier because for some reason, when we were talking about C.S. Lewis, I thought C.S. Lewis was connected to this for some reason, and I typed it in and found out it wasn't. But it was also
weirdly it wasn't, but you seem to have struck some kind of synchronistic gold there. You know,
it was 41 years old this past week, just gone.
I know, man. I saw that as a kid with my mom. But that film was
movie I saw at the cinema.
Amazing. Yeah, have you seen it, man?
It was the first movie I saw ever at the cinema.
Wow. Yeah, man. It was almost like, I can't remember. It was one of the first I saw. At the cinema. Yeah, it was fantastic.
I remember because it was just such an exciting thing to go to the cinema for the first time, and those kind of memories. They kind of get
Well, yeah, but there's that bit in it, isn't there, when he has to confront them two stone guardians.
Right.
And he sees the night. And he's been dissolved to nothing because he had fear in his mind.
Yeah.
And the only way you could, it's really a nice idea. And imagine being a kid, and like we've been saying before, Future Shock, how the things we watched on TV as kids, they expanded our minds and made us like stronger. So it's like, imagine the idea of like having to walk undefended between these two massive sphinxes. And if you have an ounce of fear, they will destroy you in a second. So it's like how to learn to not be afraid of like fear itself, because fear itself was a thing that is, and that's just such a powerful thing, man. It's a powerful thought. Because fear itself is enough to destroy you without being afraid of anything, without having a tangible thing to fear, but just the fear can just deplete you completely. Just fear itself, and of course we live in a world where fear is abundant. But I just remember, imagine that you're a kid like you and me. We saw that. I think that stuck with us, and we must have consciously thought, "Yeah,
oh yeah." And look,
what if that happens to me? What if I have to walk between two sphinxes, like 100 meters high, and they've got blue eyes and burning eyes, and their eyes are closed, but as soon as they see you're afraid, they will destroy you. That's so cool, man. That's what we had to deal with as kids, man.
we were quite blessed in that. In that kind of era of movies where it hadn't quite moved over to fully computer generated stuff.
It was the concept, bro. It was the concept. You know what I mean? And the graphics, of course, it was amazing because it wasn't, as you say, it wasn't computer.
But that made it more real. I think that made it more real because they were using props. Like if you look at the Alien on Alien,
I'm gonna get that clip up, bro. You talk. I'll get the clip.
Yeah. So I was just going to say that the use of props. This is why some of those movies are so iconic from like the sort of late 70s through to the late 90s, where there was extensive use of props as opposed to CGI, and it just made things a lot more realistic. I mean, the classic scene from Alien where Sigourney Weaver is right next to the alien, that would never have worked as well if it wasn't a prop. The fact that it's an actual tangible prop and not a computer generated alien makes it so much more creepy. It makes it so much more scary for me. Anyway.
Although, admittedly, in the first movie, there's times when the alien just looks like a man in a suit, and that's the point. When it's a man in a suit, it's fucking terrible. But when it's just an articulated head or like an alien, a prop or an effect that comes, the head, the alien head. It's generally not the whole alien you ever see. That's the classic thing about those movies. You never see the whole monster, and when you see the whole monster, it's hard to not see that it's just a man in a suit or something like that. That's the thing. And there are scenes in Alien where you just see the man in the suit type thing, and it's it's a man in a suit. But most of it is just those kind of, like you say, that those practical effects at close range, and the detail and articulation of the alien skull and etc. Which is physical.
I mean, I remember when I was a kid, that movie particularly was like pretty terrifying to me.
I used to keep rewinding the bit where the alien blasts through that guy's skull and the brains come out.
Yeah. I know. I remember the bit. Yeah.
It isn't. It is nasty, but it's just effects. But it's like, oh god, that's amazing. That's like, oh god. But it's horrible, really, if you think about it. If you think about it, it's horrible. But yeah, well, fucking kids. I love horror movies, though.
But yeah, the Never-Ending Story, 1984. Jesus.
We get copyright bummed for this.
I think if you keep it muted, you'll be fine.
It doesn't say anything anyway, so yeah, we'll be fine. Yeah, we'll see. Is that playing? Yeah. Yeah, I'll just skip on, man. I mean, the idea is if he walks between, he's trying to be confident and brave, and if he fears anything, he will be destroyed by these golden sphinxes towering above him. So it's just so cool. But just imagine seeing that in the cinema, and that's like, wow. I mean, it's kind of consciousness expansion experience, I think, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean,
you want to be the hero. You want to think, what would I do if I had to walk between two massive golden sphinxes who could destroy me if I was afraid? And now I've just seen this guy with the knight who's dead. He's been blasted to pieces, and then it's like, wow, I'm not going to be that sucker. I'm going to be smarter than him. They got big boobies as well. Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say, for some reason, I don't remember having such big tits, but
boobies. My mum must have covered my eyes, man. I don't remember them boobies.
She's like, yeah, that's not suitable for you.
Yeah, stone boobies though. So I suppose it's like, how much fun can you have with stone boobies? Anyway,
hardly any really. Yeah,
but it's a pretty cool movie, man. Super cool movie. I mean, in the end, he actually does sort of have a tinge of fear because I suppose ultimately, but he jumps out of the way at the end and just in time, just courage enough in time to save himself. So, fucking kick-ass movie. Oh, cool.
Yeah, people, if you haven't seen that movie, watch The Never-Ending Story. It's an absolute classic.
Yeah, so listen, I think I managed to cover Crowley and sort of say that although he was a fucking scumbag and lunatic and evil, he did have techniques of meditation, a powerful double-edged sword, I suppose. So, I mean, anyone who can master their thoughts and stuff, then they can then turn their will. I mean, Crowley always talked about the will. So focusing your will on an object or something like that, or anyway, I mean, this is the idea of magic.
Telekinesis type thing.
Well, no, I mean, the thing about, telekinesis is sort of similar to the poltergeist thing, isn't it? It's when things fly around the room, it's usually because the spiritual activity and it's somehow connected to that person's magnetic thoughts. I mean, this happened to people I know. For instance, someone I know, I won't say who or such, but someone very close to them died, and this person started to obviously be in grief about their death and thinking about them, and then this person found things would start moving in the room, and they believed it was the person they were thinking about who died who was making the move.
Right.
But there's a connection between intense mental states of grief and all sorts. It's peak experience. Once you enter the realm of peak experience, whether that's through extreme grief or some kind of mania or extreme depression or something, you drop out at the ends, and then anything could happen. And this is why often you find like people suffering certain mental illnesses, they find that they have sort of positive. Is it called positive reinforcement when the delusions and things become real? And like their fears become real. So like someone who's afraid, who has some kind of paranoia, will go out in the street, and then they will find, because they lack confidence, they will experience negative events, and they may even have gang stalking experiences.
Yes, Hunter Thompson said, didn't he?
Is that positive reinforcement? Is that kind of your own beliefs will dictate what happens to you largely, to some extent, right?
Well, certainly if it's kind of cultivating a negative future, I think it's a lot easier to cultivate, and you can get paranoid and create a negative future a lot easier than you can create a positive future, unless you want to define positive as just like nothing bad happening to me.
But I don't think that's the word, actually. Positive reinforcement, that's the wrong thing. But the idea is that your behavior will be modeled by how you perceive things and people, and it will be like a feedback loop, I suppose they call it, right? So it just builds upon itself, right? Yeah, I mean, You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, like anything can come true as long as you pursue it hard enough, right? If you're going to pursue it hard enough, then you can make these things happen.
Sure, that's the positive idea, isn't it? But there's always like a negative thing to that. That power of fear. And I'm not just encouraging that, but we do tend to stay positive here. We do focus on that, but we are aware that there is a great darkness and that stalks us all. To be honest, we're all under attack by this thing every day. And it just wants to weaken us. It just wants to make us feel fearful and powerless. But this thing is not. It's something that is working in cahoots with the physical managers of the earth. But it's a demonic spiritual force which feeds off it. It feeds off our fear. It feeds off our lack of power. When in reality, because we're trying to demonstrate, we're very powerful beings, potentially powerful beings.
Yeah, cool, man. So yeah, it's been a good one. It's been a fun one tonight. We've done a good 2.5 hours, so we've done good today.
Yeah, I think we should Wednesday and Sunday seems to be like our regular times. Yeah,
this seems to be a good setup. Yeah,
somehow. Yeah, I mean, we aim to do like a show a week, don't we? At least, right? And we've gone into doing 2 shows a week, but we try and do a show a week, right?
Yeah, and I think what we mentioned a bit earlier about maybe doing some uploads as well, some little 10-minute, just on a certain topic, whether it's both of us or one of us or whatever. We'll just do some uploads talking about whatever it is, kind of like what we do within the show, but just do some uploads.
Yeah, we'll crack on with that. We'll have to start cracking on. I've downloaded Cyberlink Power Director, so I'm going to start making videos. But yeah. So yeah, we've got to crack on with that because live streaming is the hardest thing to crack. You usually do that when you've established an audience with videos and stuff. But we're grateful to our commenters and stuff, man. I mean, I should check BitChute and see what's going on there actually. But hang on, give us a sec. I'm gonna fill for a second while I just see if anyone's updated the comments on BitChute. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? Let me just share this that I was looking at. Actually,
yeah.
I'm going to share. We have mentioned this star on the show before, but we were talking a bit about. You were talking about the blue supergiants, and this is a red hypergiant, Stevenson 218. I think it's the greatest. Greatest size star that we know. It's about, what is it saying here? It's 10 billion times the volume of our sun. 10 billion times the volume of our sun. You can see from the graphic there that you've got our little dot there. That's our sun, set against an impression of the size of Stevenson 218. 10 billion times larger in volume than our sun, which is pretty much unimaginable. And the star's located in my mind sees this constellation's name as a slightly different name, but I can assure you it's pronounced Scutum and no other thing. But my mind sees that as a slightly different word whenever I look at it. Anyway, which is about 19k light years away from Earth, 440,000 times brighter than the sun. So that's probably emitting light which we can't even see. We might not be able to kind of register it properly. I don't know. I don't know if it's too bright. I know that sounds a bit weird, but maybe it's too bright for us to see full light from it. I don't know. I'm not massive expert on light as such, but yeah, amazing. These are just amazing numbers to me. This is the wonder of the universe. You have so many incredible facts like this. And the fact that we could even discover these things is impressive enough. And just the names of these things are fun as well. A red hypergiant. You're a fucking hypergiant.
No, that thing's purple, bro.
Yeah, someone's coloured it in purple. I don't know why, but anyway. Yeah. Yeah, my brain.
That's one consonant away from being amusing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my brain goes to. Yeah. But yeah, you have to be a bit careful where you pronounce that. Let's put it that way. So
yeah, man.
Yeah,
amazing. I'm glad we're as tall as each other. I'm in good company.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Really, that is. Did you find some comments?
No, I didn't find any, man. It's funny. BitChute's been weird. I can't get the comments now, but there was something I did. Yeah, there was some lads. There was some fans on BitChute. And we've got our Turkish supporter. Your football lad ain't appeared today. Nor is mine. But then, listen. To be fair, I did very poor on the promotion for this video. I'm very sorry. I only promoted this a couple of hours ago, so it's all right. But listen, Sunday and Wednesday will be around, one or the other, or even both. What do you think, Future Shock?
Yeah, man. Let's just keep it going as we
Is that
are.
a two-shot promise? Can we commit to this kind of either Sunday, Wednesday, or both? We'll be around about 8 p.m. Right?
100%. Yeah.
Nice. All right, bro. Well, on that note,
Hey guys, yeah, make
Good
sure
luck.
you like and subscribe. People who are listening on YouTube helps the channel a lot.
yeah,
And thanks for listening.
thanks for the comments, guys, and thanks for listening. Totally, and keep tumbling. See you
Cool, man.
next time. It may be Sunday, right?
Sunday 8 p.m. We'll be there.
We'll be there. We'll be there. We'll be
Hopefully
there.
Japan will still be there, and you know.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Take care. Thanks, Future Shock. Pleasure
See you
as usual.
later. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.